in 2005. Yet they arrive at Amy Stadium this afternoon as underdogs up against the Adelaide Crows, who are sitting in 5th spot, 3 wins and 2 losses. The Roos on their best start since 1979, coming off a win last weekend over the Hawks. And they arrive at Amy Stadium, a venue which holds no fear whatsoever for them. Got an amazing record here in Adelaide, and they'll be switched on again this afternoon. Here's the challenge. The Adelaide Crows, as I mentioned, 5th position, 3 wins, 2 losses, won 3 of their last 4. It became unglued last week after half-time when the Bulldogs managed to collar them and turn a 19-point deficit into a 31-point win for the Western Bulldogs. Good afternoon and welcome to Amy Stadium in Adelaide. Jason Bennett alongside inaugural Adelaide captain Chris McDermott, with Hall of Fame legend Kevin Bartlett and 95 premiership player Glenn Manton to join us shortly. Chris, tantalising prospect this game, arguably the match of the round. We know what we're going to get out of the Kangaroos. They play good, solid, disciplined football. It's largely in the hands of the Crows. Will they come to play? Certainly is. Neil Craig's asked for a response after last week's disappointing second half against the Bullies. Bullies just ran them off their legs. Crows need to respond tonight and need to win the ball in the clearances. I mean, the Kangaroos always hard and tough. The Crows need to get first use of the footy today. Let's take a look at the matchups. One change, and there it is. John Baird into the side for Lee Colbert, who is a late omission. The Adelaide side and the Kangaroos both have the highest number of goal kickers per game, but for Adelaide they need a couple of forwards to maybe just stand up. Certainly do. Scotty Welsh is the man for the Crows. Started the season off well with 3 goals in the first quarter against the West Coast. A little quiet since. Needs to kick 4 or 5 today. Ian Perry, always the workhorse across half forward. Gets better as the game goes on. Dangerous player in the last quarter. Through the middle of the ground, let's take a look. Simon Goodwin up against Simpson. Matt Wells. Glenn Arch has been a revelation, playing that floating role back forward through the midfield. And Brett Burton returns from a 4-week hamstring injury to play his 100th game. Great midfield for the Kangas. Archer, fantastic. Daniel Wells, just such a good player off the wing there. Again, a potential match winner. Expect Mattner to get the first crack at him. Don't be surprised to see Andrew McLeod on him at some stage. Cross half forward, Corey Jones, dangerous player, getting under the radar week after week. Thompson and Stevens up against Bassett, McGregor and Riley. Crows half back line and full back line have been very good this year. The big duel there, Kenny McGregor up against Nathan Thompson. McGregor just struggling slightly with a leg injury. He's got a big job today. Up forward for the Kangaroos, Severio Rocker just 2 goals short of goal number 700 in his career. Shannon Grant, the danger man late, and Brent Harvey, well, he's just the danger man. Talk about juicy matchups there. All 3 of those key duels. Benny Rutten up against Rocker. Just got hurt by Darcy last week. The Shirley Harvey one is very important. The Crows need to win that one. Rashudo and McLeod both with excellent records against the Kangaroos. McLeod with a bit to prove. Just 8 touches last week on a first gamer. His second lowest tally in 183 games. He'll want to play well today. Expect them to get shut down. Rawlings and Frito with the jobs. They've done them before. Need to do them well again. McLeod and Rashudo, the 2 key movers for the Crows. Take a look at the bench for the Kangaroos. First gamer is Hamish McIntosh from Lavington up on the Murray River, taken at pick 9 in season 2002. Spitted 3 goals in his last 3 games in the VFL. A promising young ruckman gets his chance at senior level this afternoon. Doughty, Skipworth, Biglands and Ben Hart back from a 3-week hamstring injury. 279th game for Benny Hart, one of the favourite sons at the Crows. Breaks the club record today. Let's hope his hammy holds up. They haven't been able to repair it, just manage it. So always a question of doubt over Benny Hart, and it will be one today. I mentioned the Kangaroos record here at Amy Stadium. It is exceptional. We take a look at this. Is the historic record of all teams at Amy. Kangaroos won 8 of 15. They've actually won 8 of their last 11 games here, and 6 of 8 against the Crows. Yeah, righto. Rub it in, rub it in. Look, their early form here in the early 90s was horrible, got thrashed a few times, but as you said, very good here of late. Well, a game last year the Crows got up. It wasn't one of the prettier games we've seen, but we just know it's going to be a hard, tough game and probably go down to the last quarter. It's going to be an absolute belter of a game. Really looking forward to this one. As we mentioned, Ben Hart breaks Nigel Smart's club record this afternoon with game number 279. 4-time All-Australian, dual best and fairest, dual premiership player. Came from North Adelaide, debuted back in 1992. We wish him all the best this afternoon. been a long time coming for Brett Burton. 100 games since his debut back in season 1999. Had a lot of injury problems, but also a lot of highlights as well. We wish him the best for this afternoon's big game. Rain starting to tumble down here at Amy Stadium. Difficult conditions. We take a look at the toss of the coin. Adam Simpson wins the toss, and the Kangaroos will boot to the left of screen in the opening term, as we're joined by a man, a Hall of Fame legend with the AFL, 5-time premiership player, 5-time best and fairest with the Tigers, 403 games of nothing but excellence. Good afternoon, Kevin Bartlett.
Good afternoon, Jason. Always great to have Chris alongside as well. I know Chris is very confident about the Adelaide Crows today. Let's not forget that they're undefeated, the mighty Kangaroos. They've got passion, they've got spirit, and somehow they can play out 4 quarters of football, and we didn't see that last week from the Adelaide Crows. Blown away in that third term, 9 goals won by the Bulldogs. Maybe something different at Amy Stadium.
Well, this man played in a premiership side with Carlton back in 1995. He joins us this afternoon, Boundary side. Good afternoon to Glenn Manton.
Good afternoon, Jason. You've mentioned a few milestones in terms of players this afternoon, but don't forget Hayden Kennedy. 350 games as an umpire. We all know that the game of football will be nothing more than anarchy without the men in white. So congratulations from the entire football community to Hayden Kennedy. As a footnote, Dean Laidley mentioned that Lee Colbert has not come up from a sore knee, and his exclusion from the team will be sorely missed this afternoon.
John Baird gets his chance, his first game in season 2005.
Early move for the Crows from Neil Craig. We've seen Brett Burton play most of his footy under Neil Craig on a wing. He's inside 50 in the forward line. Neil Craig looking for some more firepower from the Crows forward line. Brett Burton, the man, very strong in the air, can take a mark and kick a goal.
Kangaroos have won 5 straight. Adelaide have won 3 of their last 4. As we get underway at Amy Stadium, this round 6 clash. Hudson in the ruck against Hale. They pilot on top. Edwards in there over the top of the football. Corey Jones as well. Hudson got boot to ball. High up and under, punched away by Rawlings, picked up by Ferrito. Inside 50 for the first time, and onto the chest of Shannon Grant. Booted 9 goals for the season, Grant, including 7 straight in final terms. And today a chance to get away to a flying start.
Certainly has. The Tawney matchup looks okay on Shannon Grant. Height-wise, Jason Tawney in extremely good form. Shannon Grant, such a dangerous player, inside 50 especially. Traditionally a beautiful kick for goal.
The ideal start for the Roos. They have been sluggish starters this season. Grant from 45 on its way. He likes it, claps it home. The Roos draw first blood at Amy Stadium.
Great start of the Kangaroos. Opposition teams must get away to good starts here at Amy Stadium. Keep the crowd quiet, not the start the Crows were looking for. Again, the ball away from a stoppage. Demons of the past for the Crows. Shannon Grant, where all good forwards should be, in front. Tawney right alongside. Kangas with the early goal. A couple of key matchups too, boys. We thought Rawlings would get McLeod. He certainly has. Simon Goodwin for the Crows, starting on the dangerous Daniel Wells. An interesting matchup, that one.
Great start for the Kangaroos. Shannon Grant in game number 220. He's kicked 10 goals for the season. Kangaroos coming off some big wins. Carlton, Sydney, St Kilda, Collingwood and Hawthorn. Here's Ferrito just tapping the ball out. Wells, the young man in a hurry to make peace. A wise head, goes short. Just couldn't quite hit the target that time. And Thompson coming off a big game last week against his old side with a couple of goals and 9 marks as the ball goes inside 50. Stevens thought he had it, lost it. Tyson Edwards goes to ground. Desperate in close. McGregor at the bottom of the pack. John Cock wants a free kick. And still the umpire says, try and get the ball out. They'll pile on top, and finally we've got a ball up. Unhappy about that, Chris.
Oh, they just let it go on a little bit too long for mine. Jess Sinclair with the job on Brett Burton. He spoke about Burton playing up forward. Certainly got the advantage in height.
Archer starting in defence on Welsh. We have seen him start midfield a couple of times. Here's a chance for the Crows, taken out of the hands, kicked along the ground. Still on the half-forward flank. Simpson keeps the ball live. Daniel Wells is just bowled over the line that time by Thompson, and we've got to toss back in.
$70 metres out from the Kangaroo goal. Game's been played exclusively in their half of the ground so far. Free kick and a ruck infringement for holding. It's coming back to Mark Rashudo.
Yeah, off the ball that one, I think, Jace. So Ferrito just holding on to Rashudo's jumper.
Great record against the Kangaroos. Paul Brownlow votes in 3 of the last 6 clashes. Goes towards Perry. Brown over the top of him. Umpire said took him high. Free kick to Ian Perry. to move it on. Lots of numbers behind the football. Chance for their first inside 50. Perry goes to the pocket. The lead's on. It was a beautiful kick, beautiful lead. And a clever mark from Trent Henschel. He wants to give it off as well. Doesn't like the angle. Will go short. The lead comes. Ball pitches in front of Thompson. Gives it back now to Henschel. Uncertain of his options. Kick partly smothered. Play on the call. Riley in over the top. He's taken out of it by Stevens. Hudson tries to crash through. Corey Jones in over the top. Perry in on him. 20 metres out from the Adelaide goal. John Cock wraps up Stevens and will have a bounce.
Yeah, Trent Henschel there just making the wrong decision. It's traditionally a beautiful kick for goal. A kid with a lot of talent. 40 metres out, you'd back him in, at least to have a crack.
Lance Bashoni warming up, waiting his chance to get into the action. Hale and Hudson. Neither win it, neither bring it down. Simpson toe pokes. Shirley and Wells. Well, Shirley carried forward in the tackle. Umpire said play on. Ferrito gathers for the Roos. Snaps it across the body and finds Thompson on centre wing.
Ferrito's got the big job. Playing on Rashudo as Thompson goes down looking for a rock up. Trying to tickle the ball along. Taken out in the tackle that time by Tawney. The big man's brought down. Great tackle. They'll pay advantage and Bassett will come away and John Cock from half back. Full steam ahead. Too much carry on the ball for Thompson. Chance for Archer, just a glance over the shoulder, just weighs up his options. It's a poor option. Chance for Thompson and Archer, desperate to atone, has given away the free kick. Rose keen for advantage. Rashudo couldn't take it cleanly.
Why do people boo champions? Why do people boo champions, Chris? When Archer's a champion, hasn't done anything wrong in this game. He got an almighty boo as soon as he got the ball.
Well, he doesn't play for the Crows.
They boo everybody.
Ratner. Much improved player. Point of the centre square. Goes wide. Beautiful kick. Finds Henschel. Now let's see if he's a good kick like you suggested, Chris.
You put me under the pump, KB.
This is a tough angle from here, though.
The Tony Hall pocket they refer it to. Kicked the goal from there for about 20 years ago and they still talk about it here at Adelaide.
No one's kicked one since.
Well, most times the ball goes left.
It's a tough kick because the wind does come through. He's got to punch it from here. And you're right, he's a good kick for goal. A kid learning his craft, got a lot of talent, this bloke. At full forward today, knows where the goals are, pressure's on him. Crows need an early settler.
Kicked 5 goals for the season, playing game number 27 for Henschel. He'll shoot from 35 metres out. It's a beautiful kick. That supersedes Tony Hall. Henschel
with a Tony Hall. Still the TH, I'll just change the names on the end of it. Back in the middle of the ground. Goal apiece at Amy Stadium. Bright opening. Simpson socket off the ground. Makepeace and Wells left it for each other. Towards 50 for the Crows. Pratt slaps it out. Went looking for Simpson. It was pinched by Burton. Handball to McLeod from 50. Goes towards goal. Brown in best position. Rushes it through for a minor score. Andrew McLeod, superstar of the game, playing game 221 this afternoon. He's come in for a bit of flack during the week. He'll be keen to respond, as he did a couple of weeks ago. Copped a bit of criticism. Came out, kicked the winning goal against Collingwood. Makepeace with the kick in. Goes to himself. And out looking for Ferrito. Punched away by Matner. McLeod at ground level. Went looking for Rashudo. Over the top of it. Matner went back and got it. Tawney by hand to Shirley. Puts Edwards under the pump. Stevens was sweating on him. And Michael Stevens wins the football. Through the middle to Harvey. It was a dangerous kick, but well weighted. And Harvey marks backward to the centre circle. Wants to move it on quickly. Brent Harvey plays on. Pushes it out wide. Finds Sinclair on centre wing. Down the line, the lead comes from Grant. Leads Tawney to the football and marks 75 from home. Kicked the opening goal of the game, Shannon Grant. Now an opportunity to set up another. Shannon Watt leads towards the goal square, now offers to the pocket. Jones goes to the pocket as well. Off his chest. Good run to Bassett, and the Crows are away.
The reliable Bassett hammers the ball back towards centre wing as Welsh comes out hard, and so does Archer. Sinbona of the century just didn't quite hit his target that time in Stevens. And they've got a boundary throw in. 1-1-7, the Crows, the Kangaroos. One straight goal. Biglands and Hart and Skipworth and Doherty. Ben Hart, of course, today. Record number of games for the Adelaide Crows. 8 at 17, the youngest player to play with the Crows. Had so many injury problems. So we wish him well today. Well, the whistle is gone. And the free kick is going to Hale.
Keen to poll a few Brownlow votes today is Ben Hart. Played for 14 years, KB. Only polled 11 votes in 14 years and 278 games.
That's surprising. How many best and fairest has he won with the Crows?
1, 2 B&Fs.
4 times All-Australian. Kangaroos getting back is McGregor. Second grab. It was a brave attempt. Burrito's playing on Risciuto. Rawlings is picking up McLeod. And Simpson and Edwards are testing each other. Tawny's got the big job on Grant. And Brown has lined up on Perry. Archer on Welsh as Hudson to the front. Thompson. The ex-demon Burrito in close. Beaten this time by Risciuto, who hammered the ball back to the half-forward line, taken away by Makepeace, really makes a mistake. Big pack of players, crunch at ground level. Burrito does well, rockets the ball out, taken by Stevens, runs to 50. It's a look-away kick right to the goal line, bounces through. What a goal!
Jim Tilbrook.
What a player.
Back in the middle of the ground. The Roos by 5 points. McLeod. Thompson, quick boot to ball. Welsh did well, reeled it in and wants to hit the ground running. Handball's got some runners outside. Burton and Risciuto link up. 65 from home. The skipper set sail for the square. Perry and Brown. Brown did well. Had position and held it. And can now switch play to the commentary side of the ground. Finds Daniel Pratt in space. And now Hale. Kangaroos going in with 2 young rookie ruckmen this afternoon. Hale to the wing. Thompson the target. He's the third tall option for the Kangas. Fisted away by Ken McGregor. He'll have a throw in. .5 minutes gone. Good crowd in at Amy Stadium. Difficult conditions. Bit of rain around. McLeod wrapped up by Simpson. Got hands to ball. Burrito. Under pressure from Thompson. Matt slung down by Simpson. And the ball spills to Shirley. Towards half forward. Numbers with the Roos. Pratt will come out. Take the mark. Despite some pretty clever attention there from Henschel. Almost managed to slap it out of his hands. Pratt has it at half back. Play a disciplined brand of football, the Roos. They play within their limitations. Oh, thank you very much for that. On cue. Fix up Daniel Pratt. Checks in the mail. Hayden Skipworth, the beneficiary. Pumps it inside 50. Perry will have to fly from behind. Welsh got it to the front. Couldn't gather. Archer wrapped up by Edwards. Thompson in there working for the Crows. Couldn't get his kick away. Good tackle from Jones. Pratt's handball smothered. Perry in there working hard. Thompson goes to ground. Rawlings in over the top. Pratt's there as well. Riley sweating over the top of the pack. It's tight in the clinches at the moment. 48 metres out from the Adelaide goal. It's the Roos by 5 points. We've played almost 13 minutes.
Andrew McLeod just having a spell on the interchange bench. Had a couple of touches early. Needs to play well today. Hayden Skipworth on for his first run.
Good tackling side, the Kangaroos. Like players who just picked the ball up with one grab. Archer did it very well before. Just put their hands on the ball as we see Harvey crashes into the signage. And also getting up that time was Goodwin. I think we saw him break his wrist once, didn't we?
Did it at the
same thing.
Very, very similar to that.
So brave to attempt it again. Good attempt by both players. Here's a chance. Perry sets himself over the top that time. No mark was paid as Rawlings did well. Here's a chance. Big sab down from full forward. It was a clever tap. It's been taken away. Good play here this time by Rutten. Quick snap. It's off target from Perry and through for a behind.
Great work again from Benny Rutten there. Crows fullback just pushing down, following Sav Rocker. Great thing about Ben Rutten, rarely makes a mistake. Very clean with his hands below his knees for a big fella.
I wonder if he's following Sav or whether or not he's dragging Sav down. Maybe they're just trying to get Sav up and down the ground a bit, just thinking that maybe he'll get a bit tired now. We've had some changes. All of a sudden, Harris comes onto the field. Going off is Burrito and also Brady Rawlings. And also coming onto the ground is Lance Piccioni. So some quick changes now being made by Dean Laidley as Burton's got it, the Birdman. Rockets the ball wide. McGregor had it and lost it. Tied up in the tackle that time is Sinclair. And we've got a ball up.
Interesting move from Dean Laidley to release both tags. Ferrito and Brodie Rawlings come to the interchange bench, loosens up Rashudo, can become a dangerous player now. Kangaroos forward line, almost non-existent.
Plenty of players around the contest as a result. Harris couldn't quite get hands on the slippery ball. Socket off the ground by McIntosh, his first kick in league football. Skipworth. Simpson. Off hands to Edwards, crashing through was Brown. Handball to Simpson, links up now with Makepeace. And the Roos can switch play. Corey Jones has it, defensive 20. Archer works towards the wing, goes a little shorter than that to Pratt. Under pressure, Daniel Pratt. That hasn't been a happy area of the ground for him so far in this game. Good defensive pressure from the Crows. It's coming back. Crowd want 50. Free kick goes to Scott Welsh.
Scott Welsh at his best when he's chasing, harassing and tackling. Neil Craig will love that.
High ball towards the goal square. Chance for the Crows. Some numbers at the ground level for the Kangaroos though. Brown to Baird. Laconic finds the line.
And Rashudo's just come off and McLeod has come on.
Yeah, Neil Craig always loves taking Mark Rashudo off about the 18-minute mark of every quarter. Gives him plenty of rest on the interchange bench. Not quite convinced it's the right thing to do. But the important thing is McLeod goes up forward. The Crows lacking a crumbing player inside 50. Plenty of ball in there, just no crummer.
Crows just pushing back off this contest on the defensive side. So if it does come out like that, they've got numbers at the ball, as you can see there. 3-on-1, but the ball found the boundary line. Otherwise, for Adelaide, it would have come pumping straight back inside 50.
I'm a bit like you, Chris. Champion player like Rashudo, Brownlow medalist, All-Australian, best and fairest winner, experienced player. I reckon he can see out more than the first quarter of AFL footy.
He's got to be rested up forward. He's such a dangerous forward when he's
Kicks
up there.
goals.
Mark, kick a goal, absolutely. If I'm Dean Laidley, I'm pretty happy at the moment.
Wells, third man up, got it down to Simpson. Couldn't make effective boot to ball. Shirley, fierce tackle from Procioni. Hudson slides in. Coming the other way was Corey Jones. We'll have another bounce. Centre wing.
That's interesting, Chris, that some really good players like Rashudo who can kick goals. I suppose Nathan Buckley's been in that same sort of category, where they haven't really been rested up forward.
Yeah, I can't understand. I mean, Rashudo's been played as a standout full forward on plenty of occasions, kicked 4 and 5 goals, got great hands above his head. As a kid, he played a lot of time of his junior footy at full forward. Good body strength. I don't understand it. You get plenty of spells standing around at full forward.
That's right, you could stand down there. He's standing on the boundary line at the moment, so he could stand down the forward pocket.
Of course he could.
But it's 6 goals against Carlton back in 2002. Mark Rashudo, his best. Skipworth.
I wonder if we could take one of those exercise bikes back around the goals and you could jump on and ride that when it's down the other end.
Burton has the free kick for the Adelaide Crows. Inside 50. Numbers there for the Roos. Archer. Oh, Perry, what a beauty!
Great mark.
He was outnumbered in the pack. Timed his leap magnificently. Plays on from 50. Deserves a goal, but won't get it with that. Great mark and a great anticlimax to follow. But super grab from Ian Perry. Let's take another look. Was going to instigate body contact with Brown and then realised Brown's not going to make it to the contest. Flew over the top of Glenn Archer.
Then just got too excited. Was still thinking about the mark and forgot about the goal.
It was a classic grab. There's a chance. Clean bowled. Harris has come off the interchange bench. Taken away by Matner. Some handy footwork. Thompson gets it back. Here's a chance. Hudson screws it around the corner. Standing and deliver this time is Sinclair. And Simpson traps it right on the boundary line and slides over.
We've had a little bit of drizzle here at Adelaide this morning and certainly just before game time. Skills not great early in this contest. Both teams tending to blast. Adelaide with plenty of the ball inside 50. Just haven't quite got that forward mix right. Needs somebody at ground level to make an impact.
Kangaroos by 3 points. 12 plays 9. Harris toe pokes it. Taken away by Shirley. They'll share the ball around Thompson. Good vision. Finds John Cock. Into the centre square. Now the run will come. They've got to run hard.
Oh, too well.
He was looking for Rutten, who's been running off Severio Rocker. Burton leaves it for McGregor. John Cock now. Can he make amends? Spears the ball in. Perry! He's a jumping jack today. Read it well. Just took a great mark, kicked it behind. This time he's taking a deep breath. Settle down.
Just settle. He's obviously excited. Graham Johncock again with a turnover. Puts it in a beautiful spot for Ian Perry. There's the match-up worry for Dean Laidley. Perry on Brown.
He's kicked 9 goals for the season. He's trying to will it through, and he has missed. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
Just interesting, KB, to watch Lee Brown. You wonder if his focus is as high this week playing on a non-full forward type in Perry, who's a centre-half forward floating type. Also doesn't have the big name attached to him. He's had some big games over the last few weeks against big players. You'd hope that he'd be able to keep his confidence and his composure on a lesser player today.
And Perry already with 3 behind, so getting the football in dangerous positions, just needs to find range.
You underestimate Ian Perry at your peril. He can get under your guard, get plenty of the footy. He's such a workhorse. Before you know it, he'll have 30 touches and have 4 or 5 shots on goal.
Baird, awkward looking kick and an awkward result. Adelaide doing all the attacking. They've had the last 7 inside 50s. It's been camped in their forward line. They haven't been able to take full toll. Bassett down the line to Edwards. They need to get it on the board because they have dominated the last 10 minutes. Yet they still trail by 2 points, and we know the Kangaroos as good as anyone at hanging in against the run of play. When the momentum's against them, they just shut it down and prevent the opposition from doing much damage. Edwards, high ball, big pack, Perry at the front, almost. McLeod at ground level, outside of the boot, misses. They are peppering the goals. Adelaide just need to take full advantage of the opportunities.
Yeah, certainly don't want to leave the door open for the Kangaroos. Nothing happening in the midfield for the Kangaroos. Wells 1 touch, Harvey and Simpson only 2.
Matner over the top of McIntosh. Thompson to the top of the square. Archer with the fist. Roos under pressure and they concede another. And they are struggling to get the ball forward of the centre circle at the moment. Scores level after 21 minutes. And the Kangaroos have not been inside 50 since the 10-minute mark of this term. We're now at the 21.5-minute mark.
Behinds don't hurt you that much. So wasted opportunities by the Crows. Through last week, they led by 19 points at half-time, then got blown away, 9 goals won by the Bulldogs. If you waste opportunities, the opposition has a 20-minute window of opportunity, and generally they can score. As Brown unloads a big bomb to the half-forward line. Hacker players thumped away, good defensive play. Here's a chance, Perry strutting his stuff across half-back. McGregor, magnificently smothered that time by Jones, then toe pokes along the boundary line, kept alive for the Kangaroos. Bassett, pinched that time by Grant. Johncock, the tackler, wrapped him up in the tackle, and Biglands comes away. Plenty of aggression now by the Crows. He's looking for Tyson Edwards. Getting in the way that time was Pratt. Here's a chance for Riley. Crashes, bang, straight into Skipworth, and then grabs the ball, rips it out of his arms, and has a long pot shot as it bounces through over line for a boundary throw-in.
It's like a scene from Braveheart at the moment, Chris. You've got the Kangaroos lined up in a line in their defensive 50. You've got the Adelaide Crows lined up across their defensive 50. It's very, very difficult to score.
It certainly is, but this is an area where the Crows often dominate. They love the ball here at boundary throw-ins. Very successful from here. Keep your eye on McLeod, Tyson Edwards.
Yes, they've got McLeod and Edwards at ground level. Kicked off the ground that time by Brown, and it's been marked by Riley.
Got to have a shot.
He'll shoot from 55. He's kicked 4 goals for the season. And the finalist last year in the Rising Star.
Yeah, really emerging well too this year. Developed a nice, solid body now. Good in the contest, and a magnificent kick of the footy.
Any score put the Crows in front. Riley stands on 55. Goes right to the line. Clears the pack. And kicks a goal.
4. You'd expect better than a 6-point lead, but they'll take it at the moment. The Roos with no structure forward of the centre at all. All their men pushing back. The shooter had it pinched by Harris. Again, they're forced out wide, looking for the line and finding it. But on the odd occasion in the last 10 or 15 minutes, they have managed to get the football around the middle of the ground, Chris. The Adelaide Crows have just had numbers back by virtue of the Kangaroos pushing some back at the other end.
Yeah, they certainly have. Adelaide Footy Club seem to be dominating the contested footy at the moment, an area that really let them down badly in the second half last week against the Bulldogs. Much better today in the first quarter.
Contested possessions 32-22 in favour of Adelaide, bearing out what Chris is saying. Skipworth wins another to Riley. Goes inboard. Johncock, the target, has to stand and wait. Good pressure from Harris. Watt at ground level, banks it on the boot inside 50. McGregor in best position, juggles. He's got some time to tidy up. Lacks an option. Goes to Johncock. Flicks it wide to Riley. He'll poke it down the line. It was a low percentage kick. And it's out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, the wind's certainly not strong, but blowing across the ground, right where Brent Riley kicked the footy out of bounds. Trent Henschel on there, just getting his hammy looked at, started the game well.
Pachoni to Wells. Just his second touch for Daniel Wells. Chips it to Pratt. Pratt will now switch play to Archer. The Roos looking to attack down the commentary side of the ground to create some space for themselves. Good kick to Watt, but he spilt it. He's got McIntosh in support and Sinclair. They link up. The big man's kick smothered. Good pressure from Welsh. Bassett. Archer flashed across your screen. Mattner under pressure from Sinclair. Ball to be won. Shannon Watt. Now to Rawlings. In the end, just bangs it on the boot high towards the square. Thompson at the back of the contest. Punched away. McGregor got across. And the ball spills out for a throw in. 40 metres out from the Kangaroo goal. A rare foray inside 50 for them in the last 16 minutes. As Dean Laidley works the phone and the board. Sitting right up the back of the box.
Chance for the Kangaroos. They trail by 6 points, 2-6-18 the Crows. The Kangaroos, 2 straight goals taken away by Burton. And missed that time by Thompson. Pratt can't get around. Good tackle that time by Thompson. And again just throws Stevens into the ground.
Been a good player, Scotty Thompson. Limited time on the ground in the first 6 rounds of footy this year. Certainly made an impact, kicked a couple of very important goals for the Crows, certainly against the Swans. Starting to make a name for himself here in Adelaide.
Just a couple of minutes left in this first term. Pachoni just shoveled the ball out towards Stevens. And once again, we've got a toss back in. Scotty Thompson with 6 possessions and Burton with 6 possessions. Best for the Crows. Makepeace 7 for the Kangaroos. Pratt 6 and Stevens with 5. See Ben Hart just warming up on the boundary line. Just itching to get into the action. Taken away by Rashudo. This time the kick is smothered. Harris couldn't hit an opponent. Here's a chance for McLeod. And Bassett. Been some fantastic tackling, some great smothering in this first quarter. It's not easy to get an easy kick or an easy handball.
No, it's the one thing Neil Craig demanded from the Crows this year. He wanted them to be competitive, take a leaf out of the Kangaroos book. At a press conference this week, Scotty Wells said they wanted to play like the Kangaroos played their footy. Hard, tough and disciplined, and that's certainly been the way they've gone about their business in the first
Biglands has been getting his hands on the ball. Here's Wells. Somehow gets the ball back. Ferrito kicks the ball inside 50, looking for Grant. The race is on McGregor, who'll be having to head towards the boundary line. Just 25 metres around from the Kangaroos' goal.
They've dominated the stoppages so far, Adelaide. It's working well for them, 13-7, and the throw-ins particularly, 8-2 in favour of Adelaide.
Good news that, Jace. Last week thumped at the stoppages, so much better today.
Nathan Thompson to do the ruck work with McGregor. Back of the pack, Skipworth hammers the ball back. Thumped away that time by Grant. He was looking for Sinclair. Mattner came through hard. Sinclair did well, worked to the bottom of the pack and taken away by John Cock. And the Crows working hard across half back.
30 seconds remaining to go one end to the other. Thompson to centre half forward. Archer gets back again to force a 2-on-1. At ground level, Welsh lurking. Perry got hands on the ball. Here's a chance. Hudson to Edwards. 15 seconds remaining. Perry goes to Riley. And Riley can now go over the top to Thompson. 10 seconds remaining. Thompson may well kick after the siren. And this to get some return for their dominance in the opening term. Inside 50s up to 15-8. He kicks this and they will finish double the Kangaroos score.
They've got to get some reward for effort. The Crows dominated the first quarter, had plenty of the ball, plenty of it inside their attacking zone. Conditions a little bit difficult. This by no means an easy shot for goal.
He's had a good first term, Scott Thompson, leading ball winner on the ground. This will be his 8th possession coming up. 4 goals, 1 for the season. Taking plenty of time. He'll kick from about 45 metres out. He's about 6 or 7 metres in from the boundary line, as you can see there. Thompson starts at left, works it back beautifully. Did it get to the line? We'll wait on it. Think it's home. It is, but it's in the book as Dean Laidley starts to lay down the law. Adelaide with a good start. They lead by 12 points at the first break.
Intense half.
Quarter time at Amy Stadium. The Adelaide Crows by 12 points. They dominated proceedings in that opening term. Inside 50s 15-8. And they did have a lot of the football in their own forward half of the ground. A couple of goals late in the quarter gave them full reward for their dominance. 9 scoring shots to 2. I'm sure Neil Craig would like to be a bit further in front than what he is. Having said that, as they hit time on in the first term, they were still behind. So in the end, not a bad result for Adelaide, Chris. They dominated play, but as we've mentioned in the past, you can never write the Kangaroos off. They just hang in.
No, certainly 2 goals is far from a match-winning lead. Plenty of the footy for the Crows. Good thing was they're working well around the clearances, winning some contested footy. Andrew McLeod getting involved in the play, but got some work to do. One
other game of round 6 action this afternoon between Melbourne and Fremantle. Replay scheduled on various networks. So if you don't want to know the score, look away now. Almost set to go in this second term. Leading stat getters in that opening quarter. Thompson with 8, Perry and Burton with 6 apiece. Makepeace has got 7 for the Roos, 6 each to Sinclair and Pratt. All single goal kickers as we start the second quarter. Crows by 12 points. I'll head to the left of screen in this second term. Hale in the ruck against Biglands, gathered by Edwards, kick smothered off his boot. Working back was Matner. Handball into the path of Bassett. Thumps it on his left boot and hoists it high. Pratt will come in from the side and take mark number 7 for Daniel Pratt. Certainly been busy across half-back so far for the Kangaroos. Had a mountain of work to get through in that first term. Ball came in with monotonous regularity. Shannon Watt, centre wing. He's got most of his time at centre half forward so far this afternoon. Ball to hurry it up. Chips it inboard to Simpson. You see there the marks. Kangaroos chipping it around, going short a lot more than the Crows, who are preferring to run the football. The Crows with a lot more handballs in the opening term. Contrasting style. Rawlings has it backward to the centre, but the sheer numbers in front of him, only 2 players behind him, hence the hesitation to bring it in, and that's why. Adelaide with numbers back to pick it off. Biglands to Rashuto. Over the top to Goodwin. Again, the Crows work it off half-back. Henschel will fly from the back, has to fist it away from Watt. Spills to the front. Good hit by Dowdy on Archer. Play on call. Sainsbury taken down by Dowdy. Affected the kick. Harvey has it 65 from home. Thought about the short option. You saw Corey Jones lead to the space. Oh, in the end, he hung on to it. Courageous from Bassett. Thundered across the front of Nathan Thompson. He took a pretty gutsy mark.
Yeah, vintage Nathan Bassett.
Great defensive play. Himself on the line. Here's Rashuto. Possession number 7. Just wobbles the ball forward, looking for McLeod. 2 wise heads prevail. McLeod spears the ball in. He's looking for Shirley. Took his eyes off the ball. McLeod finds Edwards. So the generals of the midfield combine. Kicks the ball. Here's a chance for Sinclair. Floats across. Taking the 4th highest number of marks in the competition this year. Goes wide, finds Daniel Wells. Hasn't really had an impact on the game so far as Wells. Looking for Thompson, finds him. He's a good 60 metres out from goal. He's got ground dancing around in the goal square. Big Sav is looking pretty gingerly, really, as he just sort of ambles back to the goal square.
Hasn't had a touch yet, Severo. Rocker's sort of game, this style of game is not really suiting him, Chris.
No, certainly not. Again, the Kangaroos hardly with, certainly without too much footy inside 50. Crows just need to be careful. Again, Corey Jones just dropping off 5 or 10 metres. No one going to pick him up. Gets the short pass. As we've seen, Scotty Thompson kick the goal from there right on the quarter-time siren. You think he may be just within range.
Well, he backs himself in, and he's caught and dumped. Good play that time by Matner.
Well, that's called not knowing your opposition player. Martin Matner is the best tackler in the competition. Always goes at the body.
In the competition?
In the competition.
That's a big statement.
Bread and butter that for Matner, and I'm sure Corey won't do that again.
Maybe a chance for the Kangaroos. Simpson, the skipper, got a foot to it. Bassett, so handy in defence. Mr. Reliable, here's a chance for Matner, the best tackler in the world, goes short. As the Crows come away through Rashuto.
Tim Gossage told me Troy Cook was the best tackler in the competition last week. We better get on the phone to Tim.
Finds Thompson. He's on centre wing, pops it out in front, and Riley takes it without breaking stride. Good young player, Riley. Copped a bit of stick from Andrew Jarman early in the season, along with McLeod, but he's bounced back. Dowdy's got it. Still across the half-forward line. Perry's the target. He's taken a couple of good grabs early in this game. This time beaten by Pratt. Didn't really hit a target, Stevens. Paddling the ball along in front. Makepeace keeps the ball alive. It was clever play. Squeezed up on the boundary line. And Stevens to the half-forward line. It's Grant, one out. Clever play.
Very good.
Used his body magnificently against McGregor. Wants to take him on. Caught. Another great tackle by the Crows. That time it was Tawney. Take a bow.
Second best tackler in the competition.
And they hold up the Kangaroos just inside 50.
Just remember the statement, that's all. Laugh at it now, but he's a very good tackler. Ask Shane Crawford, I'm sure he'd agree with it. So is Jason Tawney, and that is a great effort.
It's a classic tackle. 24 plays, 12, 3-6 Adelaide. The Kangaroos, 2 straight goals. Edwards thought he hadn't lost it. Wells, a one-grab player, quick hands, finds Makepeace to Sainsbury. Goes very, very short. It was 5 metres to Grant. They concede ground, they backtrack and retreat. Here's a chance for Wells. Stands on the point of the centre square, fires the ball in. He was looking for Hale. Thought he had it in the hands. It was just jolted out, and Johncock has pounced on it. Just caught in 2 minds. Now he sizes it up, goes short, and finds Tawney.
Run comes from behind the ball. Goodwin to Bassett. Sweeps it wide. Robert Shirley goes towards half-forward. McLeod floating forward of the football, takes the mark. 60 metres from goal. Looks inside. He's got Perry calling for it at the top of the square. Thompson at his feet. Welsh in there as well. And they've got 6 Kangaroo opponents to contend with. Shirley pushed forward. Jones one-on-one with Robert Shirley. Paddled to the advantage of Welsh. Sainsbury did well. Got it to Sinclair. Nothing to kick to. Just goes for territory. Wants this to go out of bounds. And it does. Good kick from Jess Sinclair. We'll have a throw in. Backing up his statement about the tackling, mate, Chris. 23 tackles to 14 in favour of Adelaide, which is a very good performance considering they've actually had more of the football than the Kangaroos. That's always a good sign.
Neil Craig will love that.
I was surprised that McLeod didn't pump that ball in the goal square. He had Perry there and Thompson.
Yeah, got some indecision with his leg at the moment, Andrew McLeod. Not overly confident at this stage.
Shudo and Edwards combined. Turnover comes to Harvey. Kangaroos make them pay. They have to run the lines to create because there's little to kick to up forward. They're outnumbered badly, and we see it again. Straight onto the chest of Bassett. Now Johncock works hard to the wing. Creates an option. Have to hold it up. Umpire calls him to play on. Harvey will try to corral him. Goes down the line to Thompson. He too worked hard and got there 70 from home. Inside 50, Perry the target. He's got the sit on Brown. Brown did well. He was out of position. Tries to get it to the line. Perry keeps it alive. Runs into his own man, Tawney. Later tackle on his own player. Watt, kick partly smothered. But the Roos get out of jail through Pratt to Makepeace. Opportunity goes begging for the Crows. A 2-on-1 for Thompson. Needs to mark it. Can't do so. Did well at ground level to force a contest. Gathered some territory. Looks up and he's got nothing to kick to. In the end, he'll go to the pocket. Wells might just be able to keep it alive. Went to ground and Matner will tidy up for Adelaide.
Looked like he was sliding into first base. Chance for Goodwin on the rebound. This can hurt the Kangaroos as Goodwin hammers the ball back towards centre-half forward, but this time it's Hale getting back.
Had Jason Tawney screaming for it, 20 metres in the clear, just couldn't execute the leg.
Time the play, keeping's off now for the Kangaroos. Piccioni takes it from Brown, who goes short to Rawlings. Hale took that mark at centre-half back, now in the centre circle. Gives the ball back to Piccioni, he's got poor hands. Watt finds Simpson. Don't seem to be going anywhere, the Kangaroos. Looking for Rocker out wide this time. Big Sav puts the big mid up, and that's his first grab. And his first kick as he goes short, looking for Sainsbury. Tried to tickle it. Chance for Johncock. Puts his body on the line, trying to take it to the line. Sainsbury can't take control. We've got a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, Kangaroos just look out of sorts at the moment.
They're not direct, are they?
No, not at all. All over the shop. Foot skills not hitting their targets either. Certainly down a little bit on confidence. Maybe just a couple of balls to the hot spots, what's needed.
Big Sav just looks a little bit weary at the moment. He doesn't seem to have any spring in his legs today. And he's been a winner. He kicked 5 goals last week. There's a chance for Watt. Finds Rawlings. So he concedes ground back to Archer. Stands and delivers from half-back. That's a good kick. And finds Makepeace. Defence working overtime for the Kangaroos. Sinclair. Now some space opens up. Archer can run through the centre square. He's looking for Wells out wide. He needs the foot skill and the speed. He's got it. Couldn't take it on the second grab. And Tawney rockets the ball to Burton, who gives it across to Matner. The best tackler in the business, and also a thumping kick. Looking for Henschel. Getting across is Watt. 2 against 1. Henschel goes to ground. Does well. Fights hard for the ball. Chance for Brown. Watt half smothered off the boot that time. And finally pushed over the line. We've got a boundary throw-in.
It's an entertaining contest. It's not pretty at all. It's turned into an ugly scrap at the moment with both sides pushing numbers back. You know the Kangaroos are good scrappers, but at the moment so are the Crows.
Certainly are holding up in that end of the bargain. Tyson Edwards comes from the ground. Skipworth comes on. Neil Craig continues his rotations.
9.5 minutes gone, second term, with no score from either side. Burton. Handball backward to Matner. Can link up with Skipworth. Again, uncertain of the options and gone. Sinclair wrapped him up. Pachoni needed clean hands. Turnover comes now to Johncock. Free kick off the ground. It's coming back and it's going to the Roos. Now the Kangaroos can move it quickly. They get their hands on the football before Adelaide have a chance to flood back. Simpson, inside 50. Just took a little too long. Goodwin picked it off. Riley links up with Bassett. Out in front of Thompson. Stretches, couldn't take it. Burton, Wells, Pratt there. Burton went to the advantage of Biglands and it goes out for a throw-in. So 10.5 minutes gone in the second term without a score from either team.
Haven't got any presence on their forward line, have they, the Kangaroos, Chris?
None at all, Kay, and they're just a bit cute too at the moment. Simpson and Archer both trying to pinpoint passes. You've got to get the feeling, kick it long, kick it 60 and just get it to a context.
Plenty of plays around this one. Hale. Johncock. Shirley. Handball missed the body of McGregor. Dangerous. Simpson can run onto it. McGregor's got to hold him up. He couldn't do so. Simpson's got Harvey outside him. Goes to him. Gren Harvey from 30 metres out. Pumps it through. Fast break football.
To get his hands on the ball. And it's all tied up.
Got some tall targets in their forward line, the Kangaroos, with Thompson up there.
McIntosh.
McIntosh is there with Sav Rocker, but they're playing a short, chippy style.
Well, McIntosh is the tallest player on the list. He's 203 centimetres, so I reckon that's around about 6'7". So it's when the ball's in the air that he could be dangerous. He won't be outmarked. Archer comes away, back edge of the centre square, out in front, looking for Grant. Played in front that time of Tawney. Just hasn't quite had the clean hands so far in the game as Tawney just ambles away. Here's a chance for Goodwin. Game number 201 goes short to centre half forward. It was a poor kick. Chance for Riley, pulled off the ball as well. Makepeace, who's working very hard in defence. That's possession number 13. Been taken away by Burton, short. The Skipworth, great smother that time by Frito, a hard worker. Had the job playing on Rashudo, hammers the ball back towards the half-forward line. Grant at the make ground, just a bit slow to react as Tawney to Skipworth, working hard across half-back. Johncock dances on a dollar, and then with a beautiful kick, finds Shirley, who comes away smack bang in the centre of the ground at Amy Stadium. He's looking for Biglands, needs a kind bounce. Gets around Hale and kicks a goal. What a gem! What a beauty!
You have got this season. What an absolute beauty it was. Both ruckmen similar. They both prefer to push forward than play back, and David Hale inside his own defensive 50 wouldn't be comfortable there at all. There's Hale back in the middle over the top. We've almost got Hale here at Amy Stadium, and he's coming down very, very hard all of a sudden. And the Crows re-establish their 12-point lead.
Certainly Brett Biglands, fantastic athlete too. Got a great turn of pace, good endurance. Would outrun Hale without too much trouble, back himself on that occasion.
Hale lacking pace. Harris high ball, Johncock underneath it. Picks it off. And ball to McGregor. Pushes forward towards Riley. He's got Frito to beat. Will it stay alive for the Crows? They could be away here. Brent Riley can run to 55. Goes towards the pocket. Makepeace gets across the front of the contest. That's enough.
What a game he's playing, Troy Makepeace.
12 possessions for Makepeace, leads the game. He's a very, very important player in this Kangaroos side. Doesn't receive the kudos that he deserves. 4th in their best and fairest in 2002, 9th in 03 and 7th last year. Very consistent performer. He's got it again. From the kick in, goes long towards the wing. Off the hands of McIntosh for a throw in.
Certainly playing a very wide style of game today, the Kangaroos. Enjoying their time out on the far wing. It is a long way home from there.
Particularly in these conditions and with this style of play with numbers behind the ball. Biglands, Thompson run down by McIntosh. Sainsbury got the football. Sinclair, tough to be precise with the disposal today in close. Biglands steps through a tackle. Confidence up. Awkward kick, but it'll work out for Shirley to 50. Run down by Harvey.
Tackle.
Shut that down in a heartbeat, did Brent Harvey. And it's vital at the moment because the Kangaroos, as we know, great at hanging in, but in these conditions, it is really becoming very, very heavy, this rain. They trail by 13 points and really couldn't afford to be too much further back. Stevens, ambitious at best to bounce through the middle of the ground in these conditions. Rutten committed the body, forced a turnover. Thompson run down, wrapped up, and a ball up, just ball to the wing for the Roos.
Yeah, brave man Michael Stevens bouncing the ball at Amy Stadium when there's a bit of water on top. Kangaroos style's got to be up and down the corridor with some length in their leg. At the moment, a little too cute, and it's hurting them.
Game plan's got to change in the conditions. I know both sides have been flooding, but when it's like this, you just can't pick forward to try and pick holes in the zone because it's too hard to be precise with disposal. Sometimes the best way home is to bang it on the boot quickly and just gain the territory before the numbers get back.
Couldn't agree more. Maximum distance with minimum use has got to be the key today. And one-on-one footy now, the conditions have told you it's going to be hard and tough, and the game's going to be at ground level.
They generally do play a pretty direct style of footy, the Roos. They'll be wanting to revert to that in these conditions. Edwards, awkward off his boot. Towards the line. Simpson tracks it there and we'll have a throw in.
But they've had trouble, of course, penetrating the defence of the Crows. Bassett's been very good and John Cox been good. Thompson's been very good around the stoppages as Ben Hart comes on. Number 34 in the record-breaking game for the Adelaide Crows. 279 games beats the record held by Nigel Smart. Youngest player ever to play with the Crows, Ben Hart. Let's hope those hamstrings and all those injury problems can stand up. Here's a chance now for Grant. River the opportunist, needs clean hands.
Look at the numbers.
Numbers around the ball, great tackling. Here's a chance for Corey Jones and a chance for Harvey. He can kick the ball, he's clever. He's trapped. Corral bounces off his opponent, taken away by McGregor. Defence working overtime. Here's Hart straight away into the action. Gives it across to Rutten, who comes away from fullback. That's a great kick. Finds Riley out wide. Just a wasted opportunity that time by the Kangaroos, and Riley, make that good one, has run hard from half back, made a lot of ground. Makepeace. Fantastic in defence in this first half, and showing a lot of courage also as Mattner went hard at the ball, forced it over, and we've got to toss back in.
Always does. Marty Mattner loves going hard at the footy. The Crows with numbers as their standout feature of the first half of this game of footy. Got numbers back deep into defence, working hard today, have learned the lessons from last week.
Crows by 13 points, 31 plays, 18, 4-7 to 3 straight goals. Harris with strength, can't take control. Skipworth, the tackler. Chance for Hudson, was that in the back? Free kick. He's been a surprise pack at Hudson, hasn't he, this year?
Just great work ethic, fantastic engine, and loves mixing it up, and he's been tremendous. Now the Crows' #1 ruckman, Matty Clark, can't get a game. Has had some trouble with injury, Clark, but Benny Hudson firmly entrenched as the #1 ruckman at the Crows.
Goes short. McLeod was the target. There was too much carry on the ball. What stands and delivers. He just pumps the ball back towards centre-half court. It's 2 against 1. High fly was Hart, maybe just lacking a little bit of touch. Harvey wants support, gets it from Sinclair. A high ball for the Kangaroos inside 50. Oh, that time Rocker couldn't take the chest mark. Burton. He's under pressure, pushed in the back that time by Grant. Very tough to handle the ball, very greasy. And chance now, maybe a bit of magic from the young gun. Wells from the half-forward line, looking for Thompson. And he's got it.
Fantastic work from Daniel Wells, just slowed down, picked the ball up, wasn't in a hurry. With a wet ball that's difficult to control, got to slow yourself down when you're picking the ball up at ground level. Daniel Wells with a cool head and a beautiful leg to Nathan Thompson. 45 out, certainly within range.
A couple of goals last week, took 9 marks. Big kick for the former Hawk. He's kicked 198 goals in his career. And this get him within one of the magical 200 mark as Thompson from right on 50. It's off target. There's a pack of players. It's right to the goal line. Harris thought he had it. Chance for Grant. Tickles the ball on the boundary line. Pulled off the ball that time by Tawney. We've got a toss back in.
Just over 4 minutes remaining until the half. 13 points Adelaide's lead. Pretty handy one in the context of the game so far. Massive players around this one again. Hudson up over the top to the front of the contest. Skipworth was slipped to Rashudo. Handball for territory. They'll have a throw in just outside 50 for the Kangaroos. Important few minutes here. It's at a dangerous margin at the moment for the Roos. 13 points. If the Adelaide Crows were to get the next one, it would start to be a great concern to Dean Laidley. Harris bullocked his way through. Got it to Archer. Slams it on the boot. Thompson's in front. Harassed by McGregor, who won the football at ground level. Skipworth under pressure from Corey Jones. Holds it in underneath. Umpire comes in and says no chance to get it out from there. We'll have a bounce.
Got to play in front because under these conditions when players are kicking around their bodies, the ball is going to drop short. We can take a chest mark on the forward line.
Can the Roos manufacture something from here? Going to be tough. Not a lot of space. Simpson throws his foot at the ball. Thompson in good position. Got it. So Nathan Thompson from 10 metres out again can come up with that goal that just keeps the Kangaroos hanging in. They just nag away.
Great use of the body too from Nathan Thompson. Found himself one-on-one. Again, smart kick, hits the hot spot. Kenny McGregor out of position. Paid the free kick and the mark. Got to kick the goal.
Good at 6-1 for the season. And pops it through. The Roos hang in.
A lot of passion, a lot of spirit. McIntosh, clever play off the ground. Taken away by Hart. Goodwin. Take a breath. Rashudo. Raging bull. Here's a thumping kick. It's a beauty. Right to the goal square. Henschel caught from behind. Knocked on that time by Brown. McLeod looked dangerous. Henschel wrapped up in the tackle by Archer. Thompson with some bullocking work. To Skipworth. Hammers it home. Kept them in this game. 5 straight goals, 30. They trail the Crows, 5-7, 37. And again, Hudson gets his hands to the ball and Archer comes crashing through. Wrapped up in the tackle, taken away by Goodwin, who just pumps the ball back inside 50. Perry playing in front. Makepeace. He'll just paddle this ball towards the boundary line in front of Tyson Edwards. And we've got a boundary throw in. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
Very interesting at ground level to watch Severio Rocker instruct Glenn Archer to get the ball in quickly. It could be the theme of the day in this second half.
Well, if you can get it into that hot spot on a greasy day, the ball comes to the ground, you can kick it off the ground, you can get a push in the back, somehow you can just force the ball forward. It'll be a game of inches. Goodwin, enjoying a good game. Perry's got a great chance. It is difficult to mark. Ball's very slimy. Henschel thought he had it as well. Here's a chance for Lee Brown. Didn't quite hit the target. Was well trapped by Riley. Here's Skipworth again. This time it's off target. It bounces through! Lucks of fortune. Hayden Skipworth.
Carlton Draft. Made with barley.
Doing the damage inside 50. Goodwin with 11 possessions in this second term. Margin back out to 13 points. Hudson a good tap into the path of Shirley. Links up with Thompson. This could really sting. If they can get another one here, they can start to break it open. Offhand, Skipworth again! He's got 3!
Coming up in
a game, he's done it in 5 minutes.
Well, he's only kicked 12 goals in his career. He's pinching himself at the moment. It's a fairy tale. Chance for Burton. Ripped off the ball that time and dumped by Paccioni. That was a tough tackle. Simpson, the skipper. There's a chance. Rocker! So Big Sab's got it. And we've just got 14 seconds left. And you see the time clock ticking away. So this kick will be virtually after the siren. Here's Simpson. Some good tackling here. Look at Paccioni. Crunch. So an important kick for Severio Rocker. only had the one kick in the first half.
No one back on the goal line for the Kangaroos to help shepherd it through, KB, if it does drop short.
He's kicked 698 goals in his career. Looking today for that magical 700. Only 18 players in the history of the game have kicked 700 or more goals in AFL football. Big Sav, the distance won't be a worry. He'll shoot from 45. Straight through the centre. They won't go away, the Kangaroos. And they've hit back with a goal after the siren from Severio Rocker. 6 straight goals to the Kangaroos, 36. They trail the Adelaide Crows at half-time, 7-7-49.
It was Adelaide by 12 points at quarter time. It was an ugly no-scoring scrap for the first half of that quarter, but suddenly I think this game's taken some of Warwick Kappa's ginseng tablet.
Maybe for the Adelaide Crows getting that border in. Perry kicked 3 goals in that second term as well. And we see Riley at the bottom of the pack.
Yeah, I thought Skipworth was probably in the Crows' best 1 or 2 in their win against Sydney at the SCG. Played a very good game there. Had some good cameos, doesn't get a lot of publicity, but can certainly find the footy.
Rick Biglands and Ben Hart on the interchange bench. High ball. Big fist away that time by Watt at ground level. Pounced on by Thompson, who's had a very big game. That's possession number 16. Burton. Fighting hard for the ball, wrapped up in the tackle, right on the boundary line, finally just tumbles over for a boundary throw-in. Adelaide Crows by 19 points, 55 plays 36. Some great kicking by the Kangaroos, 6-zip. It's kept them in the game, 15 scoring shots to 6. Thompson. Starting to bend back, not enough. Adelaide fans are getting excited, but just faded to the right. Let's go down to Glenn.
Jason mentioned earlier, Adelaide keeping it simple, 10 uses of the interchange bench versus the Kangaroos 21 times.
Well, I suppose he's looking for just some little bit of magic somewhere with the Kangaroos doing lately.
Yeah, he can't find the right midfield mix for me. Daniel Harris is the player that's got to get on the ground. Scotty Thompson started the third quarter on fire again, 3 touches early. The Crows dominating the midfield, dominating at ground level. That's Laidley's problem.
Perito goes wide, looking for Hale. Could have been dangerous. McLeod was lurking. Short to Rawlings. Just trying to set up this loose player. Simpson, the skipper. The run will come from Rawlings. Down from half back. Finds Grant, who's kicked a couple of goals. Rocker wants it in the square. It's a poor kick. He had his back turned to the ball. Did well to actually make it a contest. Jones.
Great tackle.
John Cock is tough in close. Likes it in the clinches. Boundary throwing.
Loves it in the clinches, Graham Johncock. The Crows tackling today, been a real feature. Graham Johncock, Martin Matner leading the way.
Tackles 35-28 in favour of the Adelaide Crows. They've led that category all afternoon. Over the top came Hudson. Again, Thompson first hands to the ball. Harvey will fly. Judged it well. And he's got it 55 metres out. Clever player, Brent Harvey, more often than not picks the right option. Needs to wheel across the ground, go to Archer, dangerous kick. Fixed him up as well. Riley missed it. Here's Wells. Steps around Perry with the greatest of ease. Spears inside 50. Grant, awkward kick for him to take. Tawney was legged. And we'll get a free kick.
That was ugly play by the Kangaroos.
Speak about picking the right options. That was the wrong one from Brent Harvey. Either had to go long and strong to the goal square or just wait for something to open up. Went wide to a 2-on-1 against the Kangaroos. Crows win possession. Plenty of numbers fall to the ball, as you can see. So Tawney will go short, take the safe option to Henschel. As far away from his forward pocket as he could possibly get. Now to Edwards. Goodwin runs over the top. He'll receive in front of Ferrito. Massive plays. They're playing a huddle on centre wing at the moment, the Crows, which is interesting, and now they break off to all directions to provide an option. Goodwin has got one. Riley was the one who slipped away. Clever use of the huddle there from the Crows. Riley inside 50 to Burton. That was brilliant. Very, very good tactical ploy, and one you generally see from a kick-in, Chris, but they used it to great effect to create some space for themselves. Yeah, it was fantastic work. Backed themselves in with their foot skills as well. Burton plays on, takes a couple on, ran himself into trouble. Thompson tight on the line.
Swings it back to the front of the goal square. Henschel coming across the front was Wells to take a good grab. See what the Kangaroos can manufacture. It's been hard work getting up and down the ground this afternoon. Numbers flooding forward and back. Lee Brown honours the lead from Jones. Couldn't take the mark. Body pressure from Bassett just enough. Skipworth dishes off. Shirley. Hudson. Back to Shirley. Looking for a target inside 50. Will go long to Perry. Brown will come over the top and fist away. Edwards front and centre. Good smother from Brown. Ricochets to Henschel. Off a step. Burton, if he can keep it alive, he can. Dropped it. Well, he actually got himself to the drop of the ball and just couldn't quite hang on. Slipped through the fingers and threw for a minor score.
He just might have known the woodwork was looming. Makepeace to bring the ball back into play. 8-9-57 the Crows, the Kangaroos, 6 straight goals, 36.
Oh.
They trail by 21 points. This could be a monumental turnover. Chance for Brown. Conceded ground to Sinclair. Backtracks to Makepeace, who's been sturdy in defence today for the Kangaroos. Hammers the ball back, but getting back is Tawney.
Rain falling again.
Gets support from Riley to Rashuto, who will stand on 75 and pumps the ball long. Chance now for Perry, pushing and shoving. They need a crummer. Thompson. Pratt goes to ground. Skipworth, he's booted 3. The magic man! Not quite. Straight to the line. Adelaide fans, we're ready to applaud. He kicked 3 goals last year against the Bulldogs. He's got 3 on the board, all coming in that great second quarter in a 6-minute spell. We've got a boundary throw in.
Problem for the Kangaroos is all in the midfield. They're not working hard enough. It's okay to push deep, but once the ball's in there, you've got to work hard to run the ball out. Not enough legs in the midfield for the Kangaroos. Dean Laidley with a problem.
Scott Thompson with 6 possessions in the opening 7 minutes of this quarter.
Well, he's been a good pickup from Melbourne. It's a free kick. Guess who? Skipworth, the man of the moment. The kick's not a good one. Brown can come charging out. He needs clean hands. Hudson's been very good in the right. McLeod. No magic today. Forces it over the line for a toss back in.
No, but not a bad spot for the ball to be in. Once again, Hayden Skipworth just getting to where the ball is. Racking up the possessions. Ball by the point post for the Crows. Again, a dangerous position for the Kangaroos. Scoring opportunity for the Crows.
Chance for the Crows. Perry over the top. Rashuto was there. Hale pulled off the ball. Harvey finds Simpson, the skipper, to Pratt, who's had a good game. In fact, their defenders have worked overtime. Sinclair as well. Stands on half back. Finds Harvey. Wells is the target. Got him. So the Crows have been able to just stop the running game of the Kangaroos.
Sure have. Daniel Wells starting to get hold of some footy, but none of it's hurting.
And all of a sudden they're forcing the play, trying to be playmakers. Just hoping something is going to come up and maybe getting hurt on the rebound. McLeod, that time beaten by Rawlings. Simpson rockets the ball wide to Pratt. So it's take 2. They'll start again. Hale, make that rock. Stands his ground. Hurries the kick away, looking for Carrito. Thumped away by Bassett. That's gone 45 metres. Henschel's the tackler. Watt was brought down, and it's been pounced on that time by Edwards. Gives it across to Shirley. Now it opens up to Riley, who wants to go short. Guess who? He's got it. Skipworth. What a game for this young man. He's had it 15 times. He's kicked 3 goals. He set up the first goal of this 3rd term. He's inspired.
I'll tell you what he is. And he's just within range too. He's not the biggest kick of the footy, but he's got a smart head and he knows where to go to find it.
But he's hot.
He is hot. On a cold day, KB, he is hot.
So Skipworth, can he kick goal number 4? Deathly silence behind the goal.
Lukewarm.
Through for a behind.
Certainly once again, start of the 3rd quarter, the Crows looking the dangerous team. No run from the Kangaroos, can't get the ball inside 50. The Crows with 8 inside 50s to 2 in this third quarter, absolutely dominating. No answers for the Kangas.
And the rain belting down again. You get the feeling the next goal could just be the one that really spears the Roos through the heart. Trial by 22 at the moment. And they really couldn't afford to concede much more ground than this in these sort of conditions. They are great at coming from behind, but very, very difficult contract on a day like today.
Too much pressure back on the forward line there by the Crows.
Henschel has it on centre wing. Squares it up to Tawney. Not one player behind him in that entire half of the ground. So he'll be patient. And he'll go to Edwards. The numbers hand forward of where he is at the moment. Tyson Edwards.
There it is.
And look at that.
Every player over the centre line.
He will bomb it in, force a contest and hope for the best once it gets to ground level. Through the hands of Rutten, Wells, Rawlings.
Now they've got to run.
Pachoni, and he'll look up and see little to kick to. They're not running either. They're standing stagnant, as you can see from that wide shot inside their forward, their defensive 50. Jones is outnumbered. Ferrito there as well. Best result, boundary line, not going to happen. Goodwin, inboard to Henschel. The Roos just a bit flat-footed at the moment. When they win the ball, they've got to push forward themselves like the Crows are. Thompson's been a danger. Burton there as well. Signs not good for the Roos just as we speak. Chris, that was telling when they got the football, and very few were prepared to run to create.
No work ethic today from the Kangaroos. That's the problem for Dean Laidley. Go to the whiteboard as much as you like. If they're not going to run, it doesn't matter where you put them. The Crows, on the other hand, full of running, kicking the ball long, staying disciplined, keeping the ball inside their attacking 50.
Hale and Hudson, McLeod lurking at the back dangerously. Here's Burton, game number 100, swings it across the body. Crows travelling well.
Good game. Ben Burton has just kicked a goal. And the Kangaroos have had 28 disposals in this third term, and 14 of those disposals have been in defensive 50. So you can see everything for the Kangaroos is in the back half. Not much has happened across the half-forward lines.
Where all their players are at the moment, KB too.
Well, that's true. Hale. And they start to get something moving. Just needs someone to ignite the Kangaroos. Grant has kicked a couple of goals. Riley's wrapped up in the tackle by Archer, who's just come off the bench. Let's go down to Glenn.
I'd be interested in your thoughts, KB. I'm wondering if the Kangaroos are falling victim to Telstra Dome football.
Well, they've had 5 really tough games. Every one of them. They never have any easy games, the Kangaroos. They always operate at 120%. And today, they're just operating under 100%. So they're finding it tough. Even some of their stars, like Wells, just not able to keep his feet. That's unusual.
Great.
And the tackling, we've got to say, the tackling of the Crows has been superb. They've matched the Kangaroos today. Chance for Harris, he's come off the bench. A little bit rusty. Puts it out on the full.
Yeah, the pressure from the Adelaide Footy Club, the telling factor. Tackling, chasing, harassing, putting the Kangaroos under pressure. Dominating in the tackles, forcing the turnover.
Edwards finds Bassett. So they'll just share the ball around. They can play keepings off. There's Edwards. Just ambles away from defensive 50. Burton streams up from the half-forward line. His confidence is high.
Certainly is, and there's the difference. As soon as the Crows get possession in their back half, everybody runs into position, put the Kangaroos under pressure. When the Kangas get the footy, not much work ethic.
Mitchell was the target. McLeod ran hard. He may not have had a lot of the ball, but he did run hard to that contest. Out on the full. Shannon Watt. Started the game in the forward line. Strutting his stuff across half-back, and that might be the story of the Kangaroos. They just have really struggled to be sharp today. Sainsbury. They'll have to go wide, and it's marked by Stevens.
28 points the margin, a game high, halfway through the third term. Bassett did well. Can't really see it on your screen as well as we can see it here, Chris, but the contrast is stark. When Adelaide get the football, the amount of run, often unrewarded run, but that's the way it is. You can run 5-6 times to create an option and only get used once. Compare that to the Kangaroos, stand around a bit more flat-footed with not as many options to go to.
Gut-busting running from the Crows.
Pratt, Simpson, tried to go over the top. Riley read it off his boot, ricocheted back to Simpson via Harris. Sainsbury. Spears inside 50. Tough to mark those on today's sort of conditions, but great grab from Thompson. Went with the flat hands, took the pace off the football and reeled it in on the second grab as Burton comes off for a spell. He'll be replaced by Ben Hart, hence the cheers. Thompson with a vital kick this for the Roos. Must get something going. Haven't scored in this third term. We've played 16 and a half minutes. Adelaide have added 2 goals, 3. And that has pretty much reflected the dominance. Thompson, booted one in the second term. This to just keep them in touch. This is to the narrow side. To Nathan Thompson. Kangaroos' first miss for the afternoon comes at the 17-minute mark of the third term. Margin 27 points. We really do get the feeling they need the next goal. It's going to be a long way home from there. John Cock goes long up the middle of the ground. Hudson his target. Spills to the back. Adelaide have got numbers running through that pack. It was well set up. Shirley to Perry. Got the push. Got a nudge and will get a free kick.
See, that long kick from fullback can still be very effective, can't it, Chris?
Thompson running hard inside 50. That's the sort of run we're talking about. Creates an option from the Trent Henschel pocket. Swings it back. Ricochets off the boot of Lee Brown. And a minor score.
Great running from Ian Perry. The Crows working hard. Neil Craig has demanded that from them this week. Be competitive and work hard, certainly doing that today.
28-point lead to the Crows, 9-11-65. The Kangaroos 6-1-37. 20 scoring shots to 7. I think that tells us a story, Chris.
That's the story.
They just cannot hurt the Crows on the scoreboard. Thompson, the trapeze artist, had a crack at it. Makepeace has been very good for the Kangaroos. Sees the ball over the line. We've got a boundary throw in.
Thompson's career best 23 possessions against Sydney in round 5 last week. Sorry, round 5 of last year, rather. He's already up to 21 today. He is in career best form.
Simpson takes a breather for the Kangaroos and Pachoni's on. As Biglands goes to ground, shoveled out that time by Harris. Shirley made it a contest. Harvey smothered off the boot, John Cock. Beaten that time by Pachoni. Be keen to strut his stuff, just come off the bench. Jones. Toe poke. Oh. And John Cock with a touch of brilliance. The ball finds with Shirley, looking for Perry on the stretch, couldn't take it, pounced on by Tyson Edwards, runs to the edge of the centre square. This is a dangerous kick because McLeod is off and running. He's got his boot to it. There's a chance, kicked off the ground. No! Comedy of errors this time by the Crows. And maybe
Benny Hart.
A moment for the Kangaroos to savour because somehow Hart just could not get his foot to the ball.
Oh, and it'd be filthy, KB. The big occasion, open goal, went on the left boot, nearly had an airy.
And a record number of games for the Crows, and Daniel Wells
must be tired.
Takes a deep breath. Squeezes it along the boundary line. And another strong tackle that time by Goodwin. Goodwin playing game number 151 today. Let's have a look at this. There's Edwards, pumps the ball in. And McLeod just looking for that kind bounce. Got his foot to the ball. And have a look at this. Ben Hart. Oh no, he got his foot to it. It was a great save by Brady Rawlings. And apologies there to Ben Hart.
I like it when we didn't see the replay.
No, that was fantastic play by Brady Rawlings. And maybe that can just turn it around for the Kangaroos. In half of the ball was Tawney. Look at that strong tackling in close. It's tough in the clinches. And the Crows have taken the points there today. It's a ball up. Just inside the centre square. Front half for the Kangaroos. 65 plays, 37. Crows led by 12 points at quarter time. 13 points at half time. They now lead by 28 points as Wells bounces out of the pack. Looking for Thompson, pulled off the ball, no free kick. And the Crows head to the boundary line. And the ball just slides over.
Well and truly in control of this game, the Crows. margin doesn't tell the full story. It's 28 points, but 20 scoring shots to 7. Crows dominating in the clinches. Contested footy, the Kangaroos' strength, the Crows' dominance today.
Inside 50s, 12-6 this quarter in favour of the Crows. Skipworth, awkward kick off the chest of Sinclair, but he recovered. Good tackle from Riley affected the kick. Wells, overlap run comes from Pratt. Pratt goes out wide, steaming out on the hard lead is Thompson. Awkward one for the big man, he gathered it well. Can go inboard, handball missed the target. Harvey's clever, handball over the top. Baird, rare opportunity forward to the centre. It was a beautiful kick. And Shannon Grant gets on the end of it. He's looked their most dangerous forward this afternoon. Good kick from Baird, who may have been tempted to wind up and go for it, but just spotted Shannon Grant rather, and hit him on the chest.
Well, we know they keep on coming, Chris, and Rawlings' dramatic save just a few moments ago. Who knows, just might bring the balance back to the Kangaroos.
Game of inches it is. Shannon Grant, the danger man up forward. Couple of goals early on Jason Tawney. We've seen his stuff this year, winning a couple of games off his own boot. The 28-point margin is not enough to put the game away. The Kangaroos' accurate kicking has kept them in this contest. And he's taking his fair share of time, KB. I'm sure the rules committee will have a look at this one. Don't hit me.
It's just when you think you've got the Kangaroos beaten that they're at their most dangerous. Grant needs to nail this one to start the run. And he does.
He was there to be caught.
He leapt early, didn't he? He just might have unbalanced himself. McIntosh beaten this time by Biglands. McLeod, great tackle by Rawlings. Chance for Dowdy. Try to centre it to Wells, to Baccioni. Just sharing the ball around, scrubby old kick. Simpson be very keen, close to the boundary line. And Grant tried to make something out of nothing and puts it over on the foot.
Well, they've got to, the Kangaroos, they've got to find something to manufacture something worth the risk. Shannon Grant on that occasion didn't come on.
What was great about this tackle, Chris, you only get one shot at it, don't you, in this situation? You've got to time it right, and he timed it to the split second.
He misses the tackle. McLeod has a shot on goal. Great work, Brady Rawlings.
He goes early, he gives away a free. If he goes late, McLeod's beyond his grasp, but he did it perfectly. Thompson, been fantastic. Out of bounds on that occasion. Lance Baccioni claiming that it flicked Thompson's boot and should be out on the full. Umpire has none of it. So less than 2 minutes remaining. The Kangaroos must hold here. If they could pinch one against the flow, it would be an enormous bonus, but they must hold. Biglands over the back to Rashudo is dangerous. Pratt tries to run him down. Perry, McLeod has got a little bit of time and space. That's a dangerous combination. Gives it off to Biglands. From 45 to the top of the square. It'll clear the contest. Henschel's there. Got to get boot to ball. He does. Ineffective kick. Still there for the Crows. It bounces back. Henschel has another go and misses. Big play. Good pressure from the Roos. They didn't panic and importantly didn't give away a free kick in that situation close to goal under pressure. Easy for an arm to slip over a shoulder or a tackle to linger. Good discipline from the Roos on that occasion. The margin now 23 points. A minute and a half remaining until three-quarter time. Sinclair will go long. McIntosh's target. Matner forces it to ground. Rawlings got boot to ball. Here's a chance for Perry. Sits up for him. Gives it to Biglands. He's got some men inside 50. Didn't spot Thompson in the pocket. Brought it across his body instead. Pratt under pressure. McLeod lurking. Gives it off to Edwards. Jones will arrive late and save the day for the Roos. He gets it to the line. Cops one over the boundary. Umpire says throw it in.
Looking for a free kick.
Good effort from Corey Jones. Just did enough. The Roos trying to hold on. Throw in. Biglands. McIntosh. Edwards. Can't keep his feet. Skipworth goes off the deck. McIntosh and Baccioni. Play on. Again it goes out of bounds. Baccioni held right as it did. It's unnecessary and the Roos will get out of jail. We go down the line. He's turned it over to Matner. Showed a lot of it to Grant, but in the end managed to reel it in, and Matner 65 metres out. Still a chance for Adelaide. Can they land a mortal blow? Matner winds it up. Goes to the top of the square. Henschel's there for Adelaide. They need a crummer. Pratt. Rashudo pinched his pocket and misses.
Biglands and Hudson have been a bit too strong, haven't they, for Hale and McIntosh at the stoppages and around the centre bounce. They're just giving the Crows that first opportunity.
Like Biglands worked the last 10 minutes getting clear hand of the ball. Crows on ballers, the beneficiary of that. Kangas just got to take a risk with a couple of minutes to go. Try and pinch a goal before three-quarter time. Just can't move the ball quickly enough today.
Time's going to beat them. Just 10 seconds left in this third term. He's got to maintain possession now. Archer, as the clock ticks away. So at three-quarter time, the Kangaroos are going to trail by 4 goals. 9-13, 67 the Crows. They've been the dominant side first 3 quarters. 22 scoring shots to just 8 by the Kangaroos, 7-1-43. They trail by 24 points. It's achievable for the Kangaroos. I thought their last 10 minutes were probably the best they've played for the game.
Yeah, certainly were, KB. Nathan Thompson with a chance to shorten the margin even further, drops the chest mark in front of goal. Will that come back to haunt them? Daniel Harris, a key player in the midfield. The Kangas need to get their hand on the ball out of the midfield, get control of the ball, but they're still in this game.
2-6 to 1-1 in that quarter in favour of Adelaide. 1-1, the smallest quarter score for the Kangaroos this season. The margin 4 goals at the final change. The Roos have come from behind to win 2 games already this year. In round 2 against Sydney, round 3 against St Kilda. Can they do it in round 6 against Adelaide? We'll be back to find out from Amy Stadium right after this.
How to do it all day. We're just worried about the run in the midfield for the Kangas.
Let's head boundary side. Here's Glenn Manton.
If the Kangaroos are to get back into this game, you'd imagine it'd have to come from the midfield. And assistant coach Donald McDonald went to great lengths to address his midfield players during that three-quarter break. Can the Kangaroos uncork one more bottle of Shinbona Spirit?
Different mix up forward for the Kangas. Brown's up there with Sav Rocker, Nathan Thompson. They've gone tall, looking for their marking forwards to win in this game of footy. It starts in the midfield.
4 goals, the deficit for the Roos. Harris, the start will be all important here. Sunshine out again over Amy Stadium. Thompson attacked it, but again couldn't reel it in. Harvey went off the deck. John Cock to tidy up for Adelaide. He'll push it down the line. Makepeace will go back with a flight, won't get there. Bounces off the chest of Burton, and we'll have a throw in. Thompson with 21 possessions. Edwards, Skipworth and Goodwin all with 17 for Adelaide, while Simpson has 20 for the Roos. 19 to Sinclair, 18 to Harvey, 17 to Makepeace. Adelaide have dominated the throw-ins this afternoon. Just bigger, stronger ruckman. Hale did well on that occasion. Wraps up Riley. We'll have a bounce on centre wing.
38 to 14 with the knockouts at three-quarter time in favour of the Crows.
Biglands and Hudson just a bit stronger through the torso than the likes of Hale and McIntosh, the 2 youngsters. Hudson won the tap. Harris went to ground. Rawlings shuffles it out towards Simpson in the boundary line for another throw-in.
Yeah, Harris certainly not the first Kangaroo player to go to ground today. Have struggled to hold their feet here on the slippery surface at Amy Stadium.
Brady Rawlings with the job on McLeod. McLeod averaging 22 possessions a game coming into this one. Just the 12 so far today. Hale and Hudson lock horns again. Hudson with the backhander. Harris has the run of the ball. Surrounded. Throws it back out towards Rawlings. And again, they take it to the line. We'll do it all again. It's got to be full on attack for the Kangaroos from here. A good at 7 for the afternoon. They're going to need to kick probably at least 5 here, you would think, to have any chance. Hale the tap, down to Simpson. Off the right boot into open space. Attacking it is Grant. Will be important in this final term. He is the last quarter specialist this year. Goes again, beat Matner for it, but Goodwin will tidy up. A fumble from Bassett was costly. Harvey picked his pocket. His kick was smothered. Bassett went back and made up for it. Got it to Goodwin. Goodwin goes looking for Thompson. Punched away from him. Simpson and Rashudo. Socket out in front of Daniel Wells. A chance now for the Roos. He's got a little bit of time. Looks up inside 50. Thompson leads towards him. Beautifully weighted kick, and he gets there. 55 metres out. Tough kick from here. He realises it needs to move it quickly. Goes to Rocker. Finds him 25 out on a 45-degree angle. It's been a quiet day for Severio Rocker, but a chance to go back and kick the 700th goal of his league career. Just the 18th man in history to do it. Be a wonderful achievement. And more importantly, in the context of the game, it is a huge kick.
3 marks, 2 kicks so far for the Big Sav. 1 goal on the board already. Big goal in the scheme of the game for the Kangas. Need the first one. Their accuracy at goal today has kept them in this contest. Sav needs to nail the first goal of the last quarter.
It's the 234th game of his career. Started way back with Collingwood in 1992. 10 times has he been his club's leading goal kicker. This for goal number 700. Tries to work it back, can't quite. Important miss. Opportunity goes begging for the Roos.
Yeah, story of the day for the Kangas. It's been not quite all day, not quite enough run, not quite enough efficient use of the footy. They've had enough of it. Just haven't nailed their chances.
Well, they've taken a standing 8 count, the Kangaroos, but we know they're a very hard club to knock out. They've been on the ropes. They've been absorbing some punches, but they're still there. They trail by 23 points. They've got this wonderful ability to somehow pull something out of the hat. Good tackle that time by Harvey on John Cock. Finds Grant, bouncing right to the line and forced over by Edwards. It's that sort of spirit that time we saw from Grant, just fighting for the ball, and Harvey, that makes something out of nothing, Chris.
Yeah, you think their leadership group for the Kangaroos got to set the example. Grant and Harvey, two of those important players.
22 points is the margin. Taken by Rutten. He ran Severio Rocker the whole length of the ground in that first quarter and a half. Just wonder whether he tied Big Sav, because he looked a bit...
Still puffing, you reckon?
Well, he might be puffing, but he lacked that little spark, that leg speed.
Legs look heavy, as do some of his teammates.
So that may have been one of the tactics, to just try and test him early. Rutten short, finds McGregor. Tawney has taken off from the back pocket. He has sprinted out to the edge of the centre square, and McGregor was very slow to react. Goes short to Rutten.
Yeah, the Crows would want to be careful. This is not their natural style of play. Very slow to move the ball on. That sometimes hurts them.
Hudson's the target.
Oh, catch.
He's been a good player. Big and strong in the contest. And squeezed in between Simpson and Hale. Strong eyes. Stands and delivers. Perry takes the front position. Put a spectacular mark early in the game. Pulled off the ball. That time was Archer. Henschel is a danger man. And chipping in is Stevens in front of Skipworth, who's kicked 3 goals in a stellar spell that took place in the third term.
This is what's hurt them all day. Got one possession in their back half, but no run. Once again, Michael Stevens, no options, no running midfield.
Correction there in the second quarter for Hayden Skipworth. Here's a chance on the stretch. That was Perry. It wasn't paid. The fans don't like it. Looking for Thompson. Again, maybe was manhandling McGregor. There was no free kick. It's been forced over the line for a boundary throw-in.
There was just nothing to kick to then, was there? Michael Stevens, not one player tried to break away from his opponent to create an option. In the end, boundary line was a good result. They need to take a risk, the Roos, run the lines and full on attack. Makepeace has been fantastic. Harris spins out of a tackle. Simpson works it forward. Here's Makepeace again. Deserves some reward. It'd be an important goal. Not quite again. They're close to the mark without being able to nail it. And the goals have dried up. It came with a rush late before the second term, at the end of the second term, but since the 4-minute mark of that second quarter, just a goal apiece. So goals very tough to come by. The Roos are going to have to break the style of game open at the moment. They've got to change the pace and momentum of it completely. Thompson's got it on centre wing to Perry. Henschel leads down the line. Sinclair won't get back in time. Archer tried to force a contest and did. And here's Sinclair. Inboard to Hale. Again, he needs some run. He needs someone to provide something. Makepieces are directly across the ground if he wants to take the risk. Instead, chips down the line. Here's Wells to try and create. Goes to 50. Grant works off his man. Did all the hard work. Just couldn't quite hang on. Boundary umpire said it was off the knee. We'll have a throw in. He's just so good one-on-one. The timing of that little nudge, Chris, was perfect.
No, it was certainly perfect. Had it clearly. Just went through the breadbasket.
Massive players around this one. Look at the numbers for Rito. Had to get rid of it quickly. Harvey tried to nudge his man under it. Brown gets boot to ball quickly. Thompson, not quite. Play on.
Free kick.
Free kick. Holding in the contest. Had a piece of the jumper. Tricky kick here for Nathan Thompson, but when you're 4 goals down at 3/4 time, You've got to take some of these half chances and convert.
Yeah, they haven't taken the half chances, as you said, Jay, so far in this last quarter. Thompson gets another try. He's looked dangerous all day. Kenny McGregor's had his work cut out for him.
Well, this to make Adelaide look over their shoulder for the first time in a while. If he can kick this, it's back to 15 points. And for the Kangaroos, it's believable. They've only played 8 minutes in the final term. Thompson to his second, and he gets it. Goal number 200 of his career, a vital one, the margin 15 points.
Ooh. Nice play. Whoops.
There it is.
Are you guys okay?
Classic.
Maybe some seeds of doubts for the Adelaide Crows. The first 4 scoring shots in this final term have gone to the Kangaroos. They beat it 1-3. Can you believe it? They are within 15 points. Simpson, the skipper, leading from the front. Harris.
Free kick.
So it's a free kick to Simpson. Stands and delivers. Hammers the ball back. Brown's getting back. Couldn't take the grab. Matner wrapped up in the tackle. Perry slaps the ball on to Goodwin. Hurries the kick forward. Archer pushing and shoving. Crunch that time. Burton running onto the ball. This time bumped off the contest as the ball slides over the line. We've got a boundary throw in just 15 metres around from the Crows' goal. They lead by 15 points.
Again, dangerous area for the Kangaroos. The Crows very effective, close to goal from boundary throw-ins. They've dominated this area all day. No ruckman there at the moment. Perry's got to do some work to get there.
Perry and Henschel double teaming. Kangaroos desperate over the ball. Rawlings somehow toe pokes it. Simpson kicks the hurried ball back towards the boundary line. And the Crow supporters are going mad because they reckon that Goodwin was held by Perito. And they're up in arms. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
You mentioned no ruckman, KB. Lee Brown looks to have been moved into the ruck for the Kangaroos. This is a roll of the dice that we talked about at three-quarter time.
Well, we know he's got leg speed, Lee Brown, and he's got a bit of bulk as well, and he can kick a goal. Brown in the ruck, beaten this time by Hudson, puts that big frame right into the contest. And we've got a ball up on centre wing.
It's drying up the disposals at the moment for Adelaide. 28 to 15 in this term. Adelaide haven't scored in 11 minutes. The Kangaroos have added 1 goal, 3.
6 clearances to none, 2 for the Kangaroos, an area the Crows have certainly done well in for 3 quarters today. The Kangas win the first 6 in the last quarter. The Crows midfield dominant in the third quarter.
And Hudson off, importantly, with a cut on the ear. He'll get patched up and be back into play reasonably quickly. But the Roos, the time is now for them to make their move. Bigland's back into the fray. Harris got hands on the ball. Couldn't dispose of it effectively. Goodwin, Perito out on the full. Unlucky there for the Roos. Perito saying it was off his knee. Free kick to Goodwin. Crows need to shut the gate on the Roos here. Get the next goal. Perry dishes it off to Burton. Can go inside 50. Deep to the pocket. McLeod versus Rawlings. Pitches just inside the line for a throw-in. Well, the crowd can sense it. They know the game's up for grabs. The noise level around Amy Stadium has lifted in the last couple of minutes.
Crows key players will shoot on McLeod, yet to touch the ball in the last quarter.
Brown in the ruck, as Glenn mentioned. Simpson throws it on the boot. Doughty versus Harris, a big one-on-one ball here. Will it stay in? It won't. Throw in. 12 and a half minutes gone, final term, 15 points the margin.
Key stats for the Crows. No footy to Tyson Edwards, Andrew McLeod or Mark Rasciuto. 12 minutes into the last quarter. Leadership group for the Crows need to stand up in the dying minutes.
Biglands and Brown. Biglands with the tap. Thompson with his head over the ball. Brown in there as well. Wells sort of out soccering off the ground. Bigland slapped it to Doughty. Ricocheting around in the congestion. Thompson again in over the top of it. They pile in on him. We'll have a bounce.
It's tough. Both sides will be very, very tired. Some slippery conditions today as Piccioni just stretches the hamstrings, ready for action. 9:13.67 the Crows. The Kangaroos 8:4.52. They trail by 15 points after trailing by 24 points at three-quarter time. Fresh air shot taken away by Jones. He's just come off the bench. Matner stands and delivers with a big bomb. Way, way off target. Out of bounds on the full. It's been tough. We said at three-quarter time. Can the Crows just keep playing at this intensity? Adelaide's last goal, 10-minute mark of the third term. They've been the dominant side, but the scoreboard doesn't show their supremacy. Daniel Wells.
Got to run.
Short. Pratt waits for it. That's dangerous because Matner closed very, very quickly. Henschel somehow shovels the ball out. Finds Bassett. Hammers the ball back. Edwards couldn't take it. Coming through hard was Archer. Put his body on the line. Smothered off the boot. But it was tough stuff by Glenn Archer. As he struts back to his position. Team lifting stuff. They trail by 15 points. You get the feeling, Chris.
There's a sniff.
There is a sniff for the Kangaroos. Doughty wrapped up in the tackle. All of a sudden, Burton couldn't handle the ball. Harris was legged, taken away by Simpson. 7 possessions for the final term. Daniel Wells through the centre square. Here comes Rock as the target. He's got it. Big Sab's got it.
Let him kick it.
Harvey wants it short. And chipping in his makepiece. This to get him within 9 points.
Oh, and gets the Crows very, very anxious. The crowd goes deathly silent here at AAMI Stadium, as they do when the Crows are under siege. All the Kangaroos in the last quarter, almost down and out at three-quarter time. Big kick for Troy Makepeace.
Yet to kick a goal this year, Troy Makepeace. He's had a big game. He's been one of their best players in defence. Can he kick a goal to get him within 9 points? Makepeace. The roar goes up. It's a poor kick. It was a kick of a tired player. Puts it out on the full.
Halfway through the final term, this game is up for grabs, no doubt about it. But the Roos have to finish their chances. Can Adelaide counter-punch here and land a telling blow?
Gee, you look back, Chris, Sab's a very big kick, and he's a magnificent kick, well within range.
KB, I know if the ball was in your hands, what would you have done? You've got to back yourself in. I mean, Sab Rock is there to kick goals, not to pass them off. He's within range. You've got to take and have the courage to have the shot.
Just over 10 minutes remaining. 41,867 in. It's been an enthralling contest. It's been pretty dour at times, but it has been fierce. Free kick. Thought about the advantage, will come back. Robert Shirley just tapped across the face as he went through. What can the Crows manufacture here from centre wing? Huddle of players at half forward. Lead comes from Perry. Heads in that direction. Under the ball, Biglan's strong, couldn't bring it down. Pratt, Simpson, and again the Roos, full of running. They've more than doubled the score of their opponents in final terms this season. They are the great finishers in the competition. Baird to Rocker, to the top of the square, getting back Makepeace. 2-on-1, Makepeace has got it!
That was a terrific mark by Makepeace. And what about the kicker, Sav Rocker?
Makes you wonder why he didn't have the shot before. One step, bang, hits the hot spot. Troy Makepeace takes the contested mark. I mean, priceless stuff. Great courage. Now a chance to make amends for his previous miss. The margin can squeeze back to 9 points. The Kangas are in it.
This to really get the butterflies fluttering around AAMI Stadium as Makepeace goes bang. Margin 9 points.
If blondes have more fun.
58-67. It's a 9-point ball game. We thought maybe the fire in the belly had gone out, but the pilot light was still burning, Chris. It's ignited in this last term. Brown in the ruck against Biglan's, taken away that time by Goodwin. Kangaroos now all of a sudden winning at the stoppages. Rawlings toe poked it towards the boundary line. Great tackle that time by Wells. Simpson's been magnificent in this last term, leading for the front for the Kangaroos, and Makepeace again keeps the ball alive to Grant. Danger here. Baird, Skipworth
Oh, did it work?
Good at 3 goals in that second term. He was a hero. Goodwin has had a big game. Perry couldn't take it. Watt does well, shoveled it out to Sinclair. He toe poked it to Stevens. He gets the go-ahead from Baird. From 70 metres out, pumps it back. Rocker's pushing and shoving. The race is on. Rutten versus Rocker. As Rutten kicks towards the boundary line in great defensive play and bobbles over the line.
Adam Simpson, 9 possessions in this final term. Makepeace has had 6. McLeod, Rashudo and Edwards have not touched a football between the 3 of them in the final term.
Telling stat, McLeod spending a lot of time, and Rashudo stuck at full forward, not in the contest. Leadership group for the Crows need to get involved.
Rutten, Rocker, Biglands and Brown, they're all in there. Corey Jones out of the congestion. Can't bring it back, out of bounds on the full. The Roos keep pressing. Under 8 minutes remaining. 9 points the margin. Adelaide have not scored in this final term. Haven't kicked a goal since the 10-minute mark of the third. McGregor has got a man in space and uses him at Skipworth. The crowd trying to lift the Adelaide Crows. You get the feeling they might just need the 1 goal. That might be enough. Skipworth down the line. Brown goes the fist. At the back, Burton. Soccers off the ground, gains 50 metres for his side. Trickles towards the line. Perry happy to take it there.
The game changed momentum very quickly. Dean Laidley made the changes. All of a sudden the Kangaroos find the run that's been missing for 3 quarters. They start kicking the ball long. Alternatively for the Crows, it has dried up. But Neil Craig continues to swing the changes. Coach courageously. Thompson's on the bench. John Cox on the bench. Key players in attack. Game in the balance.
Biglands up, but straight to Simpson. Across the body to the wing. Awkward bounce. Makepeace has been in everything. Here's Goodwin. Gets away from Ferrito. He's been huge in the final term, Goodwin. He's had 7 touches. High ball inside 50. Watt versus Perry. At ground level, Doughty for the all-important goal. Bends it back and misses. Their first score for the final term comes at the 21-minute mark. Daniel Wells with the football. 7 minutes on the clock. And it's still alive for the Kangaroos. The margin 10 points.
And Daniel Wells kicks it to himself and hammers the ball back to the centre square. Big pack of players. Ferrito got his hands on the ball, couldn't hang on to the Sharon. Simpson is absolutely destroying the Crows in this last quarter. Makepeace, his partner in crime. Here's Rocker. Oh, what a grab. And the big man from directly in front, from 40 metres out, can get him within 4 points.
Troy Makepeace again, another player having a huge involvement in this last quarter. Left shoe, beautiful kick, right to Sab's advantage. Big man gets the body in front, impossible to spoil. I can't read your writing, KB.
Well,
I'm doing my best.
I tell you what, he's
700th
lining up
goal.
for his 700th goal.
Yeah, I need my glasses.
And what an inspirational goal this would be.
Kevin, you're the one of 17 men to have kicked 700. Talk us through your 700th goal.
Well, I was about 90 metres out, kicking into a very strong wind, and the rain was coming down on the hail.
I knew you'd remember it.
And I kicked
Had a chance to handball.
and I kicked a place kick. Here's Rocker to get the Kangaroos within 4 points. Straight through the centre. All of a sudden, the seeds of doubt have been planted for the Adelaide Crows, and this mighty team, the Kangaroos, undefeated this season. Play with a passion, play with a spirit that you've got to see. And all day here at Amy Stadium, they are being crushed by the Adelaide Crows, and all of a sudden, they are within 4 points.
Should we ever have doubted them, KB? Big Sav has an influence in the last quarter, not cited in the previous 3. Game on the line, courage needed. The Kangaroos stand tall. Inaccurate kicking from the Crows has left the door open, and the Kangaroos have just stepped inside.
4 points the margin. Brown, Biglands, and a big ball to win here. With 6 minutes remaining, here's Wells. through the middle of the ground. Wells goes for a run. Handball over the top. Sainsbury loses his feet. It was important. Riley slid in. Harvey taken down, dished it off, gave it up. Matner. Riley, good one on the end of it, plays on, runs into trouble. Quick hands to Henschel. He's got some space, ducks around one, inside 50 to Skipworth. Good effort from Stevens, and Brown to clear for the Kangaroos. This game is on the line. Michael Stevens out wide. He's bared in some open space for the Roos. Grant leads long, goes up the middle. Wells will have to fly. At ground level, here's a chance here for Adelaide to try and clear it. Thompson in over the top. Frenetic play. 24 minutes gone, 5.5 remaining, and it's 4 points in it.
Hearts are pounding, Chris.
Goodwin taken high in that passage of play. Advantage may well have been paid. Here's Goodwin again, he's been mighty. Harrison over the top of Doughty, and it's right on 50 for the Roos.
Simpson's had 11 possessions in this final quarter.
Edwards, Rashudo and McLeod yet to touch it, KB. 24 minutes in. The Crows, arguably three best players, haven't laid glove on it.
Wells and Thompson forward to the ball. John Baird snuck off the back of the contest. If the Roos got it, they didn't. That was important. Over the top came Pratt. Been prominent today, taking a lot of marks across half-back. They now switch to Sinclair. The Roos pressing. They seem irresistible at the moment. Baird. It's all happening in slow motion for Adelaide. They've seen a 24-point lead evaporate. It's down to 4 points with 4.5 remaining. Sinclair has it again. The Roos are now close enough to be able to be patient and pick the right option. That wasn't it. He went looking for Thompson and Rutten picked it off.
Once again, Benny Rutten, sure hands, great in a crisis, doesn't make mistakes. That's the beauty of this kid. Takes the courageous mark in the dying minutes. Still plenty of time left.
9-14, 68 the Crows. The Kangaroos 10-12, 64. They trail by 4 points. They trail by 12 points at quarter time, 13 points at half time, 24 points at three-quarter time. But that wasn't really the story. They were being smashed by the Adelaide Crows. And all of a sudden, you get the feeling that the Crows are on the ropes. John Cox stands and delivers. That's a good kick. Squeezed along the boundary line. Biglands was the high flyer. Tyson Edwards, the tumbler. The boundary throw in.
Telling stats last quarter, KB, the clearances of the Crows have held sway there for most of the day. The Kangaroos winning them 11-4 in the last quarter. Their midfield on top. The Crows run brighter.
Boundary throw in on centre wing. Biglands put his big frame on the line. Does well to Rashudo. First touch for the quarter. Tumbles it over the line. Gains 25 metres. Crows going away in the third quarter last week and maybe just have some sort of doubt about grabbing the 4 points. Biglands got his hands on the ball once more. Matner with strength and poise. Kicks long to the square. Getting back is Pratt. Is going to bounce through. Free kick, no goal. The Crow supporters won't like it. Here comes the boos, the cheers. Droned out by the boos as Watts has got it. Shannon Watt comes away for the Kangaroos, goes wide. He's looking out there for Stevens. Desperate attempt to take the mark. Bassett was a look-away handball to Mr. Magic. McLeod, can he bring a roar to Amy Stadium? From 60 metres out, McLeod wants to set it up. Skipworth! Well, we said he was an unlikely hero in that second term when he booted 3 goals. The skipper says, go back and have a shot.
Distance, the issue here, KB.
Well, you know this young man, he's booted 3 goals. Can he get the distance?
Well, he'll be sorely tested. Probably kicked from about 48. That is maximum distance for Hayden Skipworth. This is the kick you dream of as a kid. Mark, siren ending goal, a game in the balance. He's had a good one so far.
Never kicked 4 goals in an AFL game of football until right now. 4 goals for Skipworth.
It might only take 1 goal. It certainly whipped the crowd to fever pitch. The Roos with a challenge. 10 points now the margin. Still time. 2 minutes remaining.
Don't ignore Mark Rasciuto's hand in that goal to Hayden Skipworth. The captain shows his leadership, tells him to kick the goal, settles the kid, gets the result.
Brown, Harris, the Roos continue to press. Trent Henschel, push back, important. Bassett tells him to hold it up. Crows can start to run it down. They've got a 10-point break. Edwards, Rocker trying to get to the bench. First touch of the final term for Edwards. Watt versus Perry. Down to Rasciuto. He gets a touch as well. And it's all important. Just went for territory and percentage. Happy to get it to the line. Dean Lately throws the headphones down. Not much he can do now. Rallies himself for one last effort. They've been gutsy, as always, the Roos. The Crows have been the better side for the vast majority of the afternoon. The Kangaroos have only led this game for 16.5 minutes all day. They give themselves every chance, each and every week. Shirley and Harvey throwing the ball. It's coming back to Adelaide, and that might be it. It would need to be a monumental disaster from here for the Crows to blow it. Runner comes out to Robert Shirley, says there's 56 seconds left on the clock. 4 words to that effect. And they'll take their time. They'll play a huddle at centre half forward. They play the huddle, they break now. That'll do it. Rutten had a good day on Severio Rocker. His 7th touch for the quarter coming up, Rutten. His 13th for the game. He'll launch it long inside 50. Big pack of players underneath it. Not paid, play on, Rawlings emerges. Goodwin has been fantastic. 28 possessions, including 11 in the final term. He stood up when McLeod, Rasciuto and Edwards went missing. And he and Rutten in the final term have led the way for the Adelaide Crows. Inside 50, off the hands of the contest. Wait for the roar. It's been hard work. Worth it for the Adelaide Crows. They win 10-14-74. The Kangaroos 10-4-64. The Roos vanquished for the first time in season 2005. In some distress. 4 goals for him, a career best this afternoon. A sad way for him to finish it. Let's hope it's nothing too serious. The trainer's calling for medical attention. The doctor hasn't spotted him yet. But in the end, the Adelaide Crows hung on. We knew the Kangaroos would come at them. They trailed by 24 points at the final change. The Roos threw everything they had. But Hayden Skipworth, Adelaide's only goal after the 10-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, and it was enough. Adelaide 10-14-74 defeat the Kangaroos 10-4-64. Skipworth with 4. The rest all singles for the Crows. Well, Grant booted 3 and Nathan Thompson 2 for the Kangaroos. Ripping contest, really tough. Congratulations to both sides. There can be but one winner, and today it was Adelaide.
It certainly was not the way Hayden Skipworth probably wanted to leave the ground. He was the Crows' best player today. 4 important goals in a tough game of footy where the winning score is only 10. The unsung hero for the Adelaide Footy Club. They celebrate Benny Hart's record-breaking game in style. Under siege in the last quarter, they found a hero in Hayden Skipworth and win a pretty important game for the Adelaide Footy Club.
Let's head down to Glen Manton.
Jason Tawney, a tough game, a lot on the line, some milestones to play for. You got across the line.
Oh, very tough game. It was a hard grind. The conditions with a bit of rain, and we're stoked that we got over the line in the end there. It was bloody tight.
Young Hayden Skipworth, a great game today. He appears to have some sort of injury now. Do you know what the injury is?
No, I don't know, but he did really well, kicked a couple of important goals for us, and look, he's just improving as a player, and can't wait till he gets up and running, flying along.
Well, mate, you played a good, solid game in defence. You've answered those questions in a solid fashion. Tonight, maybe a bit of time with the boys out celebrating those milestones.
Yeah, a bit of a relaxed man. It's just enjoy what we did today and then get ready to go next week. You know how it is every week, so big challenge.
Good luck, mate, and enjoy the night.
Glenn Manton there with Jason Tawney. The stretches out for Hayden Skipworth. We saw the replay there right at the death. It was almost literally on the final siren. He and Glenn Archer had exactly the same idea. They've both gone to socket off the ground. Looks like Skipworth's copped a shot to the ankle. Let's hope it's nothing more than a little bit of bruising and a bit of soreness, because 4 goals for him. He's getting driven off in style this afternoon. And the Crows improved their record in season 2005. A big game for them. Suddenly they're 4 wins and 2 losses, Chris, and really entrenching themselves in that top echelon at the top of the ladder.
Yeah, certainly is. The team needed some confidence. That was only going to be got by some wins. Benny Hart with a smile on his face. One of the most loved, if not the most loved, Crows footballer in the history, celebrates his 279th record-breaking game in style.
And we'll be back with all those celebrations right after this. Well, you can tell a lot about a win, Chris, by how they sing the song, and there was a fair degree of relief in that singing of the song. Certainly some celebration and excitement too to have won it for Ben Hart and for Brett Burton in their milestone games. But really, they led by 28 points at the 22-minute mark of the third term, Adelaide. We knew the Kangaroos would come at them. They knew it as well and played accordingly. The Roos blew a couple of chances early in that last quarter to kick goals. They missed and kicked behinds. In the end, it was 3-3 to 1-1 in the final term. The Crows hang on for a meritorious and gutsy 10-point win, because really across the course of the day, they were the better side. As I mentioned, the Kangaroos only led for 16 minutes of the game.
Game should have been beyond doubt at 3/4 time. Crows inaccurate in front of goal, left the door ajar for the Kangaroos. You said they would come, we knew they would, and in the end probably had every chance of winning the game of footy. A couple of opportunities missed at the start of the quarter, but then Hayden Skipworth kicks his 4th, and a fantastic effort from the kid.
Simon Goodwin and Adam Simpson brilliant for their respective sides in the final term. They had 11 possessions apiece, Goodwin finishing with 28, Simpson with 31. In fact, 22 of Goodwin's 28 touches came in 2 quarters, both to the same end in the second term and the final term. 11 touches in each of those 2 quarters.
Yeah, look, the Kangas got on top in the midfield and the clearances in the last quarter when they'd been thrashed all day, and the Crows midfield just went missing, and we spoke during the call. No Edwards, no Rashudo, no McLeod, hardly touched the footy in the last quarter until the last minute. So the Kangas had every chance, but you've got to lose one eventually, don't you? And the Crows needed to win and rebound after last week, and they did so.
Well, Adelaide have won 4 of their last 5. Now let's head down to the winning rooms. Here's Glenn Manton with coach of the Adelaide Crows, Neil Craig.
Neil, it would seem that one hero stood out today, but really, looking at the game, a lot of players came to play.
Yeah, no, it was an important game for us, Glenn. Spoke to you during the week about it, and you know, considering our loss, not so much our loss last week, but our third quarter last week, it was important for us to respond as a club on our home ground, and to beat, you know, one of the top sides. Pretty special day for us.
Neil, Jason Bennett and Chris McDermott up in the box. Congratulations on the win. A bit of a nervous one, I'm tipping, in that final term. 2 players we'd like to talk about. Firstly, Hayden Skipworth with his 4 goals was fantastic in breaking the game open in that second term. And then Simon Goodwin, a mighty final term from him, 11 touches.
Yeah, I think Simon's, was it second term as well, I think it was.
Yeah, 11 in both of those 2 quarters, yeah.
Oh no, Hayden's big improvement this year, and he's played some really good football in his role that he's playing, so he just continues on, and he's got a lot more in him yet. Simon Goodwin, well, he had a big role to play on Harvey in the game, and I thought he did his job superbly to finish up with, what would you say, 28?
28, yeah. 22 in those 2 quarters, as it turned out.
Yeah, well, as one of the senior leaders of our club, and an exceptional player.
Craig, he smashed in the clearances last week, but so much better today, and Hudson and Biglan's got first and clear hand at the footy pretty well all day.
Yes, Chris, I thought Hudson and Bigland's performance in terms of just their competitive spirit in the centre square in particular was outstanding. So we spent a lot of time on that during the week, and they were disappointed with their performance there last week. But once again, it's always nice to see people respond.
Smile on your face about the backbone group, or the second-tier player again, Hayden, Skipworth, Matner again, just getting better week in, week out.
Well, they are, Chris, and they have to, because the majority of our squad, and you know, it's the next test for those players will be as they get more and more attention from media, from opposition players, from the person walking down the street, to be able to handle that and then to continue to perform. But they're a very important group in our club, and they're really starting to gather some momentum.
Neil, you led by 24 points at three-quarter time. Your message to the players of that final change, because whenever you play the Kangaroos, you certainly know they're going to have a dip in the last quarter, and they were far from done and dusted.